Guys, I guess it wasn't live. I don't know if my phone accidentally hit a button, but I'm trying to get this up on the computer, the TV, and I don't know why it's not going live on here. So thank you for your patience, you guys. Like I said, this is authentic as it can be. Um, all right. So this is the live then. Okay, here we go. It's just got to catch up. It's a little delayed. So let me mute this on the TV. All right. Now I'm still not going to be able to see. Okay, so this is, and I can't tell because it's delayed on the TV. So here's us, and we've got these words: boundaries. I hope I'm holding it correctly so you guys can see. Joy. Let's move it over more. Peace. Self trust, hopes, dreams, confidence, self worth equals identity of who we are. Right? So I'm going to leave this here because by the end of this live, I hope it means something completely different than it does right now. I'm going to put that back there. Hopefully, you guys can see it. Hi, Katie. I see that you're here. Yay, I'm so glad you made it. Um, okay, so we read that. Now, here's something I want you guys to think about. Imagine looking at this board. And instead of asking what happened to this person, they said, you should have been more compliant. You were probably the problem. Well, more compliant, let's really think about what that means. More compliant with what? The lies, the manipulation, the gaslighting, the control, the cheating, the intimidation, the erasure of who you are. So when somebody tells a victim they should have been more compliant, they're not asking them to be healthier. They're asking them to disappear. And that's exactly what this board represents. So, one piece at a time, your voice, your confidence, your boundaries, your self trust, your identity, until eventually there isn't much of you left. That's not healing, that is erasure. So, don't worry about these words yet, you guys. We're going to come back to every single one of them. And you know what's interesting? When people think about emotional abuse, they think about screaming, yelling, being called names, doors slamming. And yes, sometimes that is a part of it, but I don't think that's what destroys people the most. I think what destroys people. Hi, Hava Java. I see you came in there. Sorry, I'm doing things a little bit different, so it's delayed. I got you guys up on the TV. How are you doing? So glad you're here. So what I don't think what destroys most people is the physical. I think what destroys people most is disappearing. Nobody wakes up one morning and suddenly has no confidence. Nobody wakes up one morning unable to trust themselves. And nobody wakes up one morning apologizing for simply existing and breathing. Hi, media, welcome in. It happens one tiny piece at a time, one criticism, one guilt trip, one silent treatment, one manipulation, one dismissal, one moment where you decide it's just easier if I don't say anything. And then another, and then another, and then another. A thousand different paper cuts, right? Until one day you look in the mirror and you think, who the hell am I? That's why I call this psychological identity theft, because they didn't steal your wallet. They didn't steal your house or your car. They stole something so much more valuable, pieces of you. And I want to ask you guys something. How many of you honestly feel like you've lost pieces of yourself over the years? If that's you, put a heart in the chat, just a heart. Let's see how many of us know exactly what this feels like. So, all these hearts, you're not crazy, you're not weak, and you're not alone in this experience. Let's talk about how that happens. Here we got hearts going on. Because once you understand how it happens, you can stop it from happening again. This is how they erase you. Here's some more hearts. We got a lot of hearts going on. So we can all relate to each other in here. So where am I? So you can stop it from happening again once you realize how they erase you. So let's start erasing some words off this board, because I don't think people wake up some one day and decide, I'm going to lose myself. I think it happens so slowly that we don't even realize it's happening until years later. And I want you guys to notice something as we go through this. I'm not just going to tell you the behavior. I want you to think about what part of you disappeared because of it. That's the question I want you to ask yourself through this entire live. Not just did this happen to me, but what part of you disappeared? So we're going to start with gaslighting. The first one. We all know what gaslighting is. Let me see if I can get this in the screen and use my hands. I'm multitasking here. So let me know if you guys can see this okay. Is it centered? Let's see, because the TV is delayed. I really need another computer, you guys. All right, I think it's good right here. Yes? So, gaslighting, the first one, people think gaslighting is just someone lying to you, but it's so much bigger than that. Gaslighting doesn't just make you question what happened, it makes you question yourself. You start saying things to yourself like, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I overreacted. And pretty soon, you don't trust your own thoughts anymore. So we're gonna cross off. Do I have reality on here? Reality should have been on here, but the confidence. You start losing the confidence. So there's a little piece of you that goes away, because confidence starts with trusting yourself. And yes, Deanna, it makes you doubt yourself. Confidence starts with trusting yourself. So, like Deanna says, the gaslighting makes you doubt yourself and your reality. And when someone repeatedly tells you that your reality is not real, you stop believing in your own mind. So, how many of you ever found yourself apologizing for something you weren't even sure that you did, just because it was easier than arguing, just to keep the peace? That's you. Put a heart in the chat. I still catch myself doing that sometimes, even to today, because healing isn't perfect. It's just noticing it faster. Here's another one, constant criticism. The next one, constant criticism. Nothing is ever quite good enough. We've got some hearts going on. It's Hava Java. Deanna says, oh, yeah. So you clean the house, but not well enough, right? You made dinner, but not the right dinner. You worked hard, but not hard enough. You tried, but somehow you always fell short. So eventually, what? You stop trying. Not because you're lazy. Hi, honey pepper. I'm so glad you're in and you made it. So you stop trying, not because you're lazy, but because you've been taught that nothing you do will ever be enough. So then we're going to cross off joy. There's another little piece of you disappearing. So we're going to put a couple X's. You just start slowly diminishing, because joy disappears when you're constantly trying to earn approval. Is this in the middle of the screen, you guys? I can't tell. Um, so did anybody else get to the point where you were afraid to even try because you assumed you'd be criticized anyway? So what's the point? So you get to the point where you're walking on eggshells. This one. Whew. Woo! I know a lot of you know exactly what this feels like. You start rehearsing conversations in your head. You think, how do I say this without upsetting them? Maybe should I even bring this up? Should I wait till maybe they're off of work? No, when they're off of work, they're too tired, or I can't do it first thing in the morning because they're getting to go to work. There's just never a good time, right? So you try to wait till maybe they're in a good mood. They're never in a good mood. It's never, yeah. The entire thing, Hava Java says, is walking on eggshells. So there's never a right moment. So you think, maybe I just won't say anything. And before you know it, you're filtering every word that comes out of your mouth. So then what disappears? Your voice. Your voice, there it goes. Let's cross the mouth off slowly, erasing you because your voice wasn't taken all at once. It got quieter. You move this over, it's still not in the middle. Someday I'll have great equipment and we can laugh about these times. There we go. Now it's more in the middle. So it got quieter, one conversation at a time. How many of you rehearsed conversations before you ever had them because you were scared of the reaction? Oh, and here goes my light. I thought I charged everything up. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember. Maybe you guys can remind me throughout the live to make sure my phone doesn't die. Because now I gotta charge this. I need more charger cords. We go through these things like crazy. Like I don't get it. All right, let's try to center this again. Okay, so it's delayed. I can't tell if it's in the middle, but you guys basically know what's on here. So, how many of you rehearsed conversations before you ever had them because you were scared of the reaction? I did. Raise your hand in the chat. See, now, should I stay or should I go now, just like the song? Yes, Deanna, you're filtering your being. Yes, exactly. That song always comes into my head, Deanna. That's funny that you said that. That's a perfect song. So that is not a healthy communication. That is survival. Uh, the silent treatment. Here's another one, another big one that the narcissists love to use on you to punish you and to teach you to never speak up. This one is so cruel because it teaches you something without ever saying a word. It teaches you love disappears when you disappoint me. So you stop feeling safe. You start working overtime trying to earn that connection back. Healthy love isn't supposed to feel like that. So we're going to cross off peace. That takes away your peace. It also takes away your boundaries because if you're questioning somebody on, you're questioning their behavior and saying that that's not okay with me, that hurts me, that it violates those. So I didn't write security on the board today, and safety, but it steals your sense of emotional safety, when they're crossing your boundaries and they don't honor how you feel. So has anyone ever felt anxious the second somebody's mood changed? Like you instantly thought, okay, what did I do? I know you guys can relate to that. So drop a heart if you can relate. And then there's the blame shifting. Somehow everything becomes your fault. They lied. That's your fault. It's your fault because you asked. They yelled, but it's your fault because you made them mad. They cheated, but somehow you're the problem. They cheated because of you, because of something you did. So it's eventually you stop asking what did they do and you start asking what is wrong with me. So self-worth, did I write self-worth? Self-worth right here goes away. There's some more pieces of yourself. We're just crossing it out. So you ask what's wrong with me, because when everything's always your fault, you stop knowing who you are. Then there comes isolation. Isolation isn't always someone locking you in a house. Sometimes it's more subtle. You stop seeing friends because it's easier than dealing with the drama. You stop calling your family. You stop talking about what's happening because you're embarrassed. And little by little, your world gets smaller. And when your world gets smaller, their version of reality gets bigger. And that is dangerous. It's very dangerous and then there's the invalidation. This one hits me hard. Invalidation, you're told you're too sensitive. We've all heard these ones, right? You're overthinking, you're too emotional, you're too much. You're making a big deal out of nothing. And after hearing that enough, you stop asking yourself how you feel. Instead, you start asking, am I even allowed to feel this? So we cross off the boundaries again. Those are boundaries again. So we cross off more of ourselves. Okay. And let me read this. I think having money will solve the problem of keeping the narc out of my life. Yeah, sometimes we learn like sufficiency because finances are a big reason a lot of people stay stuck with the narcissist. So I hope that you find that, honey pepper, because you deserve it. I hate that. Heard those things too many times. Yeah, and it makes you sick to your stomach after a while, right? Because if your feelings don't matter, your boundaries don't matter either. So, how many of you were taught that having needs made you selfish? I think all of us can relate in here that we're made to feel that way. A lot of us were taught that, and then we wonder why we're exhausted. Then there's people pleasing. Here's where it all comes together. I don't think most people pleasers are naturally people pleasers. I think they became that way because somewhere along the line it felt safer to keep everybody else happy than to risk disappointing them. So you become who everybody else needs you to be. You overgive, you over explain, you over apologize, you over function, and somewhere in all of that, you disappear. You disappear with every time. And then you don't know who the hell you are. So we've crossed off confidence, voice, joy. With that goes hope. With that goes dreams. With that goes self trust. And that's our identity. So where does our identity just goes away? We're getting really close. It's pretty much there to be ready to cross off. And here's the question I want you guys to sit with though. What part of you disappeared? Not what happened to you, not what they did. What part of you disappeared? You guys want to share? Go ahead and put that in the chat. And then it could be maybe you stopped listening to your favorite music. Maybe you liked to do art. You know, you stopped painting, um, stop singing, your creativity, your laugh, your confidence, everything, just disappears. And we have different lives. There's different lives, different people, different relationships, but a little bit of, no matter who you are and what narcissist, what dynamics it was, a little bit of us disappeared. Honey Pepper says, my entire identity disappeared. Yeah, of course it did because they it's insidious what they do. And you don't realize it until later. How really bad it was, how they made you disappear over time. Hava says, my joy, my outgoing nature, my creativity, my relationships, my intellect. Yeah, they steal it all from you. To this day, I miss the old self I used to be. But Honey Pepper, you can get that back. So can you. Everybody, we can all get that back. So many of us have the same wounds, but here's what really breaks my heart. I'm going to put this back here for now. We're going to come back to this later. I'm going to put it back here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Um, Here's what really breaks my heart, you guys. Most of us don't realize it's even happening when we're living it. And that's what I want to talk about next because when you're in survival mode, the glass gets foggy. Remember, I talked about on the windshield or when you step out of the shower and it's foggy. And that's where I spent a whole lot of my life. How many of you can relate to that? It's the fog of survival. So let's talk about. I think a lot of people don't understand is people on the outside love to ask questions like, you guys all know these. Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you see the red flags? Why didn't you stand up for yourself? And I want to answer that today because I don't think most people understand what survival actually does to your brain. When you're surviving, the glass gets foggy. You're not seeing the whole picture. You're just trying to make it through today. You're surviving, right? You're surviving the next argument, the next guilt trip, the next silent treatment, the next disappointment, the next crisis, the next thing they're going to gaslight you about, their double lives. The next time, they're cheating on you and you could tell, but you don't have solid proof, but something's going on. So you're not living anymore. You're surviving. And when survival becomes your normal, you stop asking if it's healthy. You just start asking yourself, how the hell do I get through today? Has anybody else felt like that? You become utterly frozen in the moment inside their fucked up, bizarre world. Yeah, everything's about them, isn't it, Hava? Um, so you were just existing. You weren't living. If that's you, I don't know what this is, a mirror in the chat. I don't even know what I put in my notes, but I know you guys can relate. Hava says yes. So, and here's what I want every single one of you guys to hear. You were not stupid. You were not weak. You worked broken. You were surviving with the tools that you had at the time, and that is completely two different things. There's so much shame people carry because they stayed. I think every survivor and every victim that I talk to holds so much shame. And Honey Pepper, yes, you nailed the nail on the head. You feel like you're living in an alternate universe. Yeah, you don't because you question yourself, you don't trust yourself, and you're disappearing. So, and then we carry the shame. And then we think, how did I not see this? But here's the thing, you couldn't see it because the glass was foggy. And when you're inside the relationship, you're looking through that windshield. So when you finally get out, it's like somebody handed you windshield wipers for the first time. Or like when you get glasses for the first time and you've been, squinting for so long to try to read things. And then now you can see the clear picture. So that's why so many of us look back and think, holy shit, how did I live like that? And it was really bad. How many of you guys got out and you told yourself, that was really bad? It was worse than you thought it was. The cognitive dissonance, yes. And I did see it. It still took me forever to leave. That's okay, Hava Java, because when we do start seeing it, some of us put those rose-colored glasses back on, right? That's what you probably did. And you chose not to see it because we want them to be that person that they were in the beginning, that we were up on the pedestal. We thought they were our soulmate. We put the rose-colored glasses on, and I think that we've all done that. So yeah. And so now you're seeing it from a place of safety, not survival. So those are two completely different perspectives. Now, let me ask you guys something else. Looking back, what's one thing you can see today that you couldn't see while you were living it? Put a light bulb in the chat and let me know. With me, I was just so afraid of him. Yeah, and fear will keep us stuck. Fear keeps so many of us stuck in these situations, because they either will get violent or they won't let you leave or they'll make you afraid that you can't, stand on your own 2 feet financially, especially in today's economy. You're in disbelief because you can't believe it's the closest person in your circle that's out to get you. Right, exactly, 100%. Because this is someone that said they claim to love you, that you're their soulmate or whatever, love bombing things that they said to you. And they were so sweet and kind. So, they know what they're doing because they can control what they're doing. And grieving that it was all a lie is one of the hardest things. You think someone's got your back, but like Honey Pepper says, they're the one that has the knife in your back. Shoot, even in your chest, they got one in the front and the back. And so if you ignored every red flag, you kept making excuses, you thought it was normal, you blamed yourself. Yes, and then you feel ashamed to talk to anybody about what's going on because, especially if they have no clue, they think it's a normal relationship. And a, a relationship with a narcissist is not normal. It's like a whole other can of worms, but they don't know that because they've never been through it. So it's very isolating and you do feel ashamed about what's going on. It's like there's a stranger in your house. Yes, right, Honey Pepper. It's like that movie, Sleeping with the Enemy. Is that with Julia Roberts? Yeah, it's like that. You're laying next to a complete stranger. You don't know who they are. But that's what survival does, you guys. It narrows your world. It's a pile of shit. Yes, Deanne, I agree. And it keeps you focused on getting through the next moment instead of seeing the bigger picture. And that's what people don't understand, that trauma and then those brain chemicals all mixed together. People don't comprehend that. And quite honestly, I don't think they want to. There's very few people that try to understand what you've come from. It's easier for people to be judgmental instead of seeing the bigger picture. And that's why I want you guys to give yourself some grace because we are so damn hard on ourselves, aren't we? We beat ourselves up, we call ourselves stupid or weak or naive, or we buy into what someone's telling us, that shame floods over and it's hard. But no, you guys, we were all trying to survive. That's a huge difference. Now, I want to ask you guys another question. Um, this one might be a little bit uncomfortable. How many promises to yourself did you break just trying to survive? I want to pause and think about that. My God, yes, Glennis, it's one big trauma. Huh? You just want to scream at them. Why are you acting like that? Yeah, you want to take them and like, what is wrong with you? I remember feeling just like that, honey pepper. Yeah, many. So maybe you promise yourself, I won't let anybody talk to me like that ever again. Then they apologize, right? And you stay because you got that one little glimmer of hope. Okay, maybe they're sorry. Maybe they realize what they're doing. So you promise yourself, next time I'll speak up. But fear kept you quiet. I would shout, please, this isn't normal. Please stop. Yeah. And they didn't listen to you, right? Yeah. We're just so desperate for them to give us, some basic human decency that they're not capable of. But yet they know what they're doing. So they do have control over it. But they choose to keep acting that the way that they're doing. So maybe you promised yourself next time I'll speak up, but fear kept you quiet. Maybe you promised yourself if they ever do that again, I'm leaving. But trauma bonded you to the relationship. And there's no judgment because we've all been down this road, you guys. Just honesty. How many promises did survival make you break? I know I've broken a lot, more than I can count. And I don't beat myself up for that anymore because that version of Glennis didn't know what this version knows now. She was surviving. This just like that version of Hava Java doesn't know what Hava Java knows now. Honey Pepper, Deanna, Katie, that was the old us. They were surviving. This version that we have now is learning how to live, and there's a huge difference. But here's where everything changed for me, you guys. I realized something that completely shifted the way I looked at healing. People always say, go find yourself again. And I remember thinking, again, I never even knew who I was in the first place. You hope for change because they said they'd stop and they turn right back around and act even worse. I still don't keep promises to myself. It's okay, Deanna. When we keep talking about this, we keep reinforcing this, and you take baby steps, even if it's something little, like I said earlier, that you don't realize is something, honoring yourself, no matter how tiny it is, you know, like I'm going to go to bed at an earlier time tonight, and you set the alarm and you honor that. No matter how tiny it is, you're still keeping promises to yourself. So you probably are doing that, Deanna. You just don't realize it. So be really self-aware, and no matter, even if it's, brushing your teeth and flossing your teeth. You don't normally like to floss your teeth, but you floss your teeth. No matter how tiny it is, it's still honoring you and keeping that promise. So I remember thinking, uh, where am I again? Where people say go find yourself again, and I think again, what if there isn't an again? What if I never actually got a chance to become myself in the first place? Because I did not. How many of you guys can relate to that? Did you ever know yourself in this lifetime where they say go find yourself again? Again, so this might be the first time. That realization for me changed everything. And I have a feeling some of you are going to relate to this next part more than anything else we've talked about. Some of us never had an identity to lose. I don't know what happened to the chat. It all disappeared. Uh oh. Oh no. Okay. I see you, Katie. You popped up. So some of us never had an identity to lose. We never had it in the beginning. So this part completely changed the way I think about healing. You hear it all the time. Go find yourself, go back to who you used to be. And one day I remember thinking, again, there isn't again. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I swear, because I realized I never knew who Glennis was up until almost 2 years ago. That's how long I've been away from him. I knew who everybody else needed me to be. Can you guys relate to that? You knew who everybody else needed you to be. You knew who the narcissist needed you to be. You knew how to survive. You knew how to keep the peace. You knew how to read the room. You knew how to shrink yourself and make yourself smaller. You knew how to overgive, overfunction, put everybody else first, do all the work in the relationships. I had a much stronger sense of self before him, but I was also full of multiple traumas and loss. And that takes a lot to work through because it didn't happen. overnight and in one day, Hava Java. So we have to have grace for ourselves from where we came because we didn't know. And you'll get that stronger sense back. You'll get it. So we knew how to put everybody else first, but did we know who we were? Did I know me? I definitely didn't know me. I don't think I did. And I have a feeling some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. So how many of you feel like you've spent more time trying to become who everybody else needed than figuring out who you are? If that's you, put a dove in the chat. That's freedom. I chose a dove because a dove is freedom. And that's what we're all working towards. Not perfection, but freedom. For a lot of us, this didn't start in an adult relationship. It started when we were kids. Because maybe you guys were told, don't cry, stop being so sensitive, don't talk back, be the good kid, keep the peace, don't embarrass us, you're too emotional, you're too loud, quit making everything about you. So, what did we do? We adapted because kids always adapt. Children don't think, maybe my environment is unhealthy. Form and function for others. Yes, I see what you're saying. Yes, it does go way back. Yeah, the generational trauma. So kids don't think, gee, maybe this is an unhealthy environment I'm in. Children think there must be something wrong with me. You guys remember thinking that as a kid? I know I did all the time. Like, what is wrong with me? And then I found out I was adopted later, and I thought, well, that's what's wrong with me. I was adopted, but I was invisible from the get go. So we become whoever we have to become to feel loved, to feel accepted, to feel safe. Little by little, you stop asking, who am I? And you start asking, who do I need to be so people love me? Think about that. It's a heartbreaking question for a child to answer. I remember something growing up, and I don't know if you guys want to share any of your stories. I'm not always open. I have a link today to open this up later, whoever wants to come and talk. But I remember, I think it was like fourth grade, third or fourth grade, and we would have, show and tell. Remember that? And I remember this one girl, she brought some, those horses, those plastic horses that you could collect, got them at Kmart or whatever. And she was really into horses. And so when it came my turn, like the later in the week by sharing, I brought a horse. I got a horse and I all of a sudden was into horses because I didn't know what I liked. I wasn't allowed to explore what I liked. So I took her passion with horses. I mean, I do love horses, but because I didn't know who I was then, I said that I liked horses and I was show and telling horses as well. Even when, as a kid, you think it's your parents, the people around you make you feel like you're the problem. Yeah, it could be grandparents, aunts, uncles, neighbors, whoever, because everyone around me had some generational dysfunction going on. Sadly, it happens all too often in most families. And here we are today. So it's a heartbreaking question for a child to answer, and then we grow up. And guess what we do? The exact same thing. We attract relationships where we keep auditioning for love, we keep proving ourselves, we keep trying to earn it, we keep shrinking, but not because we're weak, it's because it's familiar. That's what our nervous system learned. This is where I want to say something that I wish someone would have told me years ago. Whether you're 50, 60, 70, 40, whatever, and you're just now figuring out who you are not behind. You're not a failure. You're not late. You're finally free enough to ask the questions you were never allowed to ask. Who am I? That gives me chills because that's where I'm at. I'll be 59 next month. And I feel like I'm getting to know myself for the first time in my life, for the very first time. And not the version that was surviving, not the version trying to earn love, not the version trying to fix everybody, the real me. And honestly, she's pretty damn awesome. She's still healing, she still has bad days, still gets triggered, still cries. But one thing I will never do again is abandon her. That brings me back to the question I've been asking for the last few weeks, the promises you guys made to yourself, because maybe some of you, the very first promise you need to make is this: I promise I'm going to finally find out who I am, not who my parents need me to be, not who that narcissist needed you to be, not who your children or friends or any family, whoever needed you to be, not who society needed you to be, but you, me, you. I love to hear from you guys. What's one thing you've discovered about yourself during your healing? Maybe it's that you love painting. Maybe it's hiking. Maybe it's heavy metal like me, screaming the lyrics. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe it's that you're actually funny. I know Katie cracks us all up in here. Maybe it's that you're stronger than you even realized. It's funny, with all that happened to me, I could never see myself becoming or being a narcissist because it's totally not who we are. It's powerful. Thank you, Hava Java. And we are powerful. We are more powerful than we realize we are. When you are forced to face this shit because there's no alternative, you become a phoenix rising from the ashes. Like, I'm speaking that from my experience so far. I mean, it's a feeling unlike any other. Yeah, it has some shitty times, like the roller coaster thing I put in the comments, and that Katie gave me that idea. It was a great idea because that's exactly how it is. 1 minute you're up, and then you're down. Your stomach's up in your throat, and but healing is, it's better than being with the narcissist. Coming back to yourself. Tava says, I'm at a point in my life where peace and health and healthy environment means more than any other thing. That is so awesome, Hava Java. That gives me chills to hear you guys coming back to yourself, because I know what it feels like. And I hope every survivor can experience this, and that people escape the narcissist can experience this. So tell me something you've discovered about you guys, because this is healing, not just leaving the relationship, not just learning about narcissism. Healing is discovering the person who is buried underneath everybody else's expectations. This person that's buried right here, you can barely see them, but we're going to uncover them. That's who they made you out to be. You were hiding. They buried you. They tried to erase you. So healing's discovering the person who was buried underneath everybody else's expectations. And that's exactly what happened to me. Because healing isn't something I teach, it's something I'm actually living. Like I told you, I'm healing live along with you guys. This is real time shit right here. I want to share a story with you guys again. I know some of you were in here last week about my daughter when we're trying to repair things. Let me read this before I get into it. Honey Pepper says, I like being alone. I never felt truly happy being alone because I was always in survivor mode. Yes. And Hava says, me too. Now I discover I love being alone and happy in my own space. Yay. I love hearing that. It's so awesome. And did you, Honey Pepper, and Hava Java, anybody in here, did you feel like being alone was at one time a punishment? Because we see it as abandonment. A lot of people see it as, if you're alone, something's wrong with you. If you're not in a relationship, something's wrong with you. But quite frankly and honestly, it's the other way around. Because so many people, I'm getting off track here a little bit, but so many people stay in relationships for the sake of being with someone. It doesn't matter how much they're feeling invisible or alone or erased. So that's awesome, you guys. And now I embrace it. Like, I love it too. But I discover I love being alone and happy. That's so awesome. I love that. So here's the story about my daughter. And I need you to understand before I tell it. This isn't about blaming my daughter. This is about showing you what changed in me, because I think that's where the real lesson is. So years ago, I would have handled this situation completely different. The old Glennis would have disappeared. The old Glennis would have accepted crumbs just to keep the relationship. But the Glennis standing in front of you today made a different choice. And it's a big promise that I kept to myself. It was one of the hardest choices I ever made. It's the promise that I finally kept. So, most of you know, after years apart, my estranged daughter came back into my life recently. And when that happened, I was truly excited. I was hopeful. I also knew something had changed inside of me, but not because I didn't love her any less. It's because I had finally started loving myself too. So years ago, the old Glennis would have been so afraid of losing that relationship again that I would have accepted almost anything just to keep the peace because I wanted to be in my granddaughter's lives also. I would have thought things like this: don't rock the boat. Be careful what you say to her. Don't bring up the past. Just be grateful she's back. I would have shoved my feelings down. I would have swallowed my hurt. I would have made myself smaller. This would have been me. Again, I would have done that again because that's what I've always done. I erased myself over and over and over and over again. But healing changes you, not into someone that's angry, not into someone that's always looking for a fight. Healing changes you. Hi, Mary. Those monsters never change. I'm glad you're in here. It's good to see you. I didn't know how to enjoy being alone because I felt like I always needed people, but I didn't understand because I was needing the very people that were hurting me. Yes, I think so many of us can relate to that, Honey Pepper. Yeah, never let them. I never thought I'd have to block my own mother. Now I understand it's the best thing I've done for myself. That is awesome. And it's hard at the same time. So it's like a bittersweet thing because you're coming back to yourself, but at the same time you have to leave other people. A lot of us have to cut off family. Back in your life. Hi, Mama. You look gorgeous. Thank you, Mary. You're so sweet. How you been doing? Hi, Kelly. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, you guys, Mary and Kelly. I'm glad you made it. I'm good, hanging in there. Just getting ready to tell a story about my estranged daughter. So, this is one thing that I've noticed in the healing because I told you I'm healing, in real time with all of you guys. And this is one promise that I kept to myself. So, healing changes you, not into someone that's angry or looking for a fight, but it changes you into someone that finally believes that my feelings deserve a seat at the table too. And that's all I wanted. I didn't want to fight with her. I wasn't trying to blame her. I wasn't trying to attack her. I wasn't trying to punish her. I genuinely wanted something healthy. I wanted two adults to sit down and have the hard conversations, about things that had hurt both of us. I wanted both of us to say, hey, this hurt me. Help me understand your experience. Or I didn't realize that. Or I am truly sorry. I want to do better. I wanted reciprocal respect. I wanted accountability from both of us because healthy relationships aren't about one person always apologizing. We know from being in the narcissistic relationship, we were doing all the work, right? Always people pleasing. As empaths, we just overextend and overgive. But it's about two people trying to understand each other, like truly understand each other. But as we talked, you guys, I realized something very painful, really painful. I found myself wanting to understand her world. I wanted to know what life had been like for her. I wanted to hear her experiences. But I noticed this: there wasn't the same curiosity about mine, not just what I do for work, but what my life actually looks like today and behind the scenes. What is like caring for her sister, my daughter Riley, what chronic illness has looked like in our home, what our days feel like, what we've been carrying, all that hurt. Not because I expected perfection from her, but because healthy relationships make room for both people. Two, two. It takes two for a relationship. So then one day I had a conversation with myself and I asked myself, Glennis, what do you have to lose? And the answer broke my heart because I've already learned I've already learned how to live without my daughter. I've learned to live without my granddaughters. I didn't know I was going to get emotional in this, but this is hard shit. I've already learned to live without them. I haven't seen them in person beyond a phone screen, behind a glass. Didn't get to hug them. Um, take them to movies, all the stuff that grandmas want to do with their grandkids. Um, so I learned how to live without them, not because I wanted to, God knows I didn't, but because that's what my life had become. I'm 59 years old next month, and I've already missed years that I will never get back. years of birthdays, years of memories, years of watching them grow, not because I didn't love them, not because I didn't want to be there, but because generational trauma doesn't just hurt one person, it weaves itself through entire families. Generational trauma sucks, it's a thief. So, parents, children, grandchildren, until one day somebody has to wake up. Somebody has to be willing to say, this pattern stops with me, this bullshit stops with me. And for me, that person had to be me. Now here's something else I want to say. Goodness, she doesn't have emotional maturity. Yeah. And I'm gonna get to that, Deanna. You're so right. Um, so here's something else I want to say. There was a time in my life when I couldn't see clarity either. The glass was foggy for me too. So I'm sure that I know that's what happened when I was raising her, when I was raising all my kids. I was surviving. I wasn't reflecting. I wasn't seeing the bigger picture. So I understand what survival does to people. And I understand that healing happens at different times for different people. So that's why I don't tell this story about my daughter with hatred. I tell it with genuine sadness and hope. Um, because I would still love to sit down one day and have those conversations with her. Not to win, not to be right, not to shame anybody, not to attack her, but to understand, to repair, to rebuild, because relationships are not healed by pretending nothing happened. The pink elephant in the room. You cannot heal a relationship when there's a pink ass elephant in the living room. Used as a coffee table. That's what Katie says, how she describes it. So they're healing by having the courage to talk about what happened. But here's what healing taught me. I can prepare a chair. I can come with an open heart. I can be willing to listen. I can be willing to learn. I can be willing to own my mistakes, but I cannot make another person sit at the table. Healing has to be chosen by both people. And that is one of the hardest freaking lessons I ever had to learn. Then, you guys, I realize something. If I stayed silent, let me read these before they disappear. Listen to me. Kelly says, I understand what you're talking about. That's why I had to stop putting. That one got cut off. How fast I have to learn to live with myself, to take care of myself. I see your pain and I feel like every single day, I really do. Every single day, my grandchildren think I'm dead. Oh, Kelly, I'm so sorry. So you know this pain. You know this pain. And I'm so sorry that you do. Um, that sucks. So this is what I realized. I realized something. If I stay silent, if I swallow my hurt, because she said she just wanted to move on and start fresh with new behaviors, but it doesn't work like that. That was not okay with me because you have to have repair. You have to have the hard conversations. So if I swallowed my hurt, if I pretended everything was okay just to avoid those uncomfortable conversations, I'd be doing what I had done my entire life. I would be abandoning myself. And I made a promise that I'm never going to do that again. I will never abandon myself ever for any relationship, not for approval, not because somebody might leave. Because here's what I finally realized: if the only way to keep a relationship is to erase myself, and you guys say this to yourself in your mind, if the only way you can keep a relationship is to erase yourself, then you have already lost the most important relationship you'll ever have, the relationship with you. So I stood my ground, but with love, not with screaming, not with insults, not with punishment, with honesty. And whether someone's ready to meet me there or not, I can live with that. What I can't live with anymore is disappearing. Let me read this. This pain is enormous. I've been there when my youngest did not speak to me for 4 years. I remember you sharing that, Habajada, and thank you so much for sharing because I know we're not the only ones. There's other parents out there that are dealing with this same pain. So I appreciate you posting that. Honey Pepper says, I've heard on the other channels that it's not the child's responsibility to understand their parents' trauma, but I already knew my parents' trauma. I just don't feel like they had the right to pass. Yeah, it's not their responsibility. It is the parents to take accountability for that. I agree with that. But not all parents do that, unfortunately. But you understood without her saying anything. So you surpassed the healing. You woke up, Honey Pepper. I just don't feel like they have the right to pass it down. No, so it ended with you. You broke it. And that's awesome. So, what I can't live with anymore is disappearing. And I want to ask you guys something. Have you ever stayed quiet just because you were terrified of losing the relationship? I know we all did that with the narcissist, but now that most of the us are out of that or getting ready to leave that or we're freshly out of it, we'll still tend to have those behaviors because our body has memory. We're trying to rewire our brain. That's why I went back and forth with my daughter. I was quiet for a little bit at first, and then I thought about it. So you bounce back quicker, and the fog lifts a lot quicker when you're healing. So even though I caught myself going into old behaviors with her, the the key word there is I caught myself. So put a heart in the chat if that's you guys. If you were terrified of losing not only that narcissistic relationship, but do you see yourself in the here and now with people that you deal with that you're maybe terrified of losing? And you find yourself starting to shrink yourself or resort back to old ways. Because it's not hard to do. It's hard to break these patterns, but it can be done. And then there's another question. What's one promise to yourself that you've been breaking that today you're finally ready to keep? Because that's where the healing begins, not when they change. We got a heart there. Not when they change, when we stop abandoning ourselves. But I don't want to leave you guys there because some of you might be thinking, okay, Glennis, but do healthy relationships even exist? And my answer is this: yes. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. This is what it feels like to be seen. My family is dead to me, all but my brother. Yeah. A lot of us had to cut off family, to protect ourselves. It's like cutting off, like my neighbor, she's into gardening and stuff. It's like pruning. Pruning a plant, you got to get rid of all the dead stuff on the plant so it can thrive and grow. It's pretty much the same thing. You have to cut off the dead parts. So some of you might be sitting here thinking, okay, does this actually exist? Healthy relationships, do they actually exist? And I'm not just talking about romantic. Or is this just something people talk about? And my answer is yes. Not perfect, but healthy. And there's a huge difference. And I'll share with you guys something personal in my life. One of my healthiest relationships in my life is with my best friend, Sharon. And here's what's funny. We met on TikTok, and who would have thought? Two women who had come out of toxic narcissistic relationship, two women carrying wounds, two women carrying triggers, two women still healing. But here's the important part, because I don't want you to think healthy relationships mean nobody ever gets hurt. That's not true. Sharon and I have had uncomfortable conversations. We've misunderstood each other before. We've accidentally hurt each other's feelings without realizing it before. And we've had to say, hey, can I tell you something? That really hurt me. Can you help me understand what you meant? But years ago, you guys, those conversations would have terrified me. I would have just not said nothing and assumed this person doesn't like me or they hate me or, just kind of shrink down to nothing because I was so used to believing that my feelings didn't matter, that I was too sensitive, too emotional, too much. And maybe some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is what made this relationship different. Neither one of us was trying to win. Neither one of us was trying to silence the other. Neither one of us was trying to prove who was right. They absolutely exist. Honey Pepper says that's why they say you got to find your tribe. Yes, we're finding our tribe. I love the shredding silence community that's coming together. So none of us was trying to prove who was right. We were trying to understand, and that is a huge difference. We listened. We asked questions. We owned our own stuff. If one of us realized we hurt the other, we apologize. No fake apologies. Not I'm sorry you feel that way, because we all know that's not an apology. It was real accountability. And then this is the important part, the behavior changed, because an apology without change is not repair, it's just words. That's what healthy repair looks like. Not perfection, repair. One conversation, one apology, one changed behavior, one act of trust, over and over and over again, until safety starts replacing fear. Hi, Helen. Welcome in. I'm glad you made it in here. How are you doing? That's what my brother told my sister in law, told me when I went and tried to have a relationship with my brother. Um, when I went over after my mother died, my brother's house, my sister in law told me that nobody in the family wanted anything to do with me because of my mother and being blamed for my mother. And she used the whole smear campaign. That's extremely painful, Kelly. I'm sorry that you went through that. Thank you for sharing that. So others that may be watching will know, I'm sure they've gone through similar things. So one act of trust, you guys, over and over and over again until safety starts replacing fear. And I want to ask you guys something. How many of you have ever had someone genuinely apologize and then actually change their behavior? I don't think I've had it happen too much in my life. Matter of fact, I can't think of anybody. That's sad. And only my friend, my best friend. And we're healing together, and it's awesome and scary at the same time. I'm glad it's your first time, Helen. I'm glad you made it in here. So glad. Um, so, because I want you guys to know something too. Doesn't mean you're never going to experience this if you haven't. You absolutely have. Good, Kelly. Rarely. Yeah, it's rare. Um, doesn't mean you'll never experience it. It just means not yet. So if you guys haven't, it makes me sad, but it also makes me hopeful, because I remember thinking, everybody sucks in this world. Like, is anybody real? Like, everybody's fake as fuck. And it's so frustrating, because when you come out of the narcissistic relationship and you're so hyper vigilant and you pick up on people's behaviors, their vibrations, their patterns quick, very quick. And it's disheartening, because now that the fog is cleared, they were probably there the whole freaking time. You just didn't notice it because the fog was fucking up your vision. You know what I mean? And so it makes it think like the whole world is like this, but there are good people. I mean, look at you all. You're all good people. I found my good friend. We found our tribe in here. So it makes me hopeful at the same time, because now you know what to look for. Healthy relationships aren't about agreeing on everything. You can agree to disagree and still have love and respect for each other. It's about making room for both people. Because my friend Katie and I, Sharon and I, we don't always agree on everything. And that's okay, because she's her own person. I'm my own person. You guys are your own person. And other people, the autonomy. And and it's cool to have different, who wants to be the same? We'd all be AI robots, right? So both people matter. Both people get to have feelings. Both people get to speak. Both people get to be curious about each other's life. Everybody sucks. Yeah, that Limp Biscuit. We like the same music, don't we, Deanna? Yeah. And some days you just don't want to wake up. Everything's fucked. Everybody sucks. Yeah, break stuff. That's that song. I've played that several times on the way to work and on the way home. So both people get to be curious about each other's lives. And I really realized something through my own healing. When someone is genuinely interested in you, they're curious about your world. They ask questions. How are you doing? What's work been like? How's Riley? How are you holding up? Not because they're checking a box, it's because they actually fucking care. And you can tell. And you do the same for that person, because curiosity goes both ways, you guys. It's not somebody just talking about themselves and then you try to talk about yourself and it immediately goes back to them. It's a reciprocal, like playing ball. They throw the ball back to you and then you throw it back. And it's balanced. So effort goes both ways, repair goes both ways. That is reciprocity. And one of the hardest lessons I've learned is this: people meet us as deeply as they're able to meet themselves. That doesn't automatically make them bad people. It does tell you everything about why they're struggling. And this is where I feel like my daughter is. And I don't want to put her stuff out here, but I'm trying to find the grace because I was where she's at right now, struggling, not knowing what's going on, but not afraid to look at her reflection because it's hard. It's hard. One of the hardest things we'll do in our life is look beyond our own reflection in here and deal with those shadows and those demons and take accountability with no buts. So doesn't tell you everything about why they're struggling, but it does help you to understand what the relationship is like today. One of the hardest parts of healing is accepting the difference between hoping for what a relationship could become and honestly seeing what it's able to be right now. And that was hard for me, really hard, because hope is beautiful, but hope cannot replace reality. So now I don't chase, I don't convince, I don't beg, I don't shrink. I show up honestly, I communicate honestly, I listen honestly, and then I pay attention. Is the effort mutual? When I talk about this, you guys think about yourselves. You listen honestly, then you pay attention. Is the repair mutual? Because healthy relationships don't require one person to carry the entire relationship on their back. And can I ask you guys something else? What does being truly seen feel like for you? Have you guys felt truly seen? Tell me in the chat one word: safe, heard, accepted, peaceful. Tell me, or you can put an emoji. It could be something like safe, calm, respected, loved. So you're not going to put something like anxious, confused, walking on eggshells, because that's not what love is supposed to feel like. Safe. Abba says safe. Deanna says yes. Love should feel like safety. And here's another promise I want all of us to think about. What if this week the promise you keep to yourself is that you will stop chasing people who require you to disappear? I love your lights. Safe and loved. I love these answers, you guys. It gives me chills. Loved. Yes. Stop chasing people who require you to disappear and start making room for the people who make room for you. Think about that. I'm going to repeat that. The promise to keep to yourself, if you keep anything, is that you'll stop chasing people who require you to disappear and start making room for people who make room for you. Not because you're giving up on people, because you're finally giving yourself the same love you've been giving everybody else that you deserve. And that's what rebuilding starts to look like. Not becoming perfect, learning how to recognize healthy, learning how to recognize reciprocity, learning how to stop abandoning yourself without abandoning your ability to love, because those are two very different things. So where do we go from here, you guys? Hi, Omar. Omar. I'm just gonna say Omar. Country is Mexico. Welcome. Glad that you're here. Welcome, Mexico. So where do we go from here, you guys? How do we rebuild the parts of ourselves that we thought were gone? Let's go back to the whiteboard because I want to show you guys something. Let me see if I can center this in the middle. Okay, so let's come back to this. At the beginning of the live, we wrote one word, me. Then we started crossing things off, right? We crossed off confidence. We crossed off voice, boundaries, joy, dreams, identity. I want you to really look at this because this is what so many of us have lived. Trying to keep this in the middle of the screen. Nobody erased us overnight. They erased us one conversation, one criticism, one betrayal, one dismissal, one silent treatment. Trying to get it in the middle. My TV is delayed, so I'm sorry, you guys, if you can't read it. So one broken promise at a time until one day we looked in the mirror and wondered, who the hell am I? But here's what I need you guys to see. This word me is still there. Maybe it's kind of faded because all of this happened and people erased you slowly over time. Maybe it's been buried, like You know, you can still see the stick person, that's you under here, but you're still there. So maybe you forgot what this person even looks like, but it's still there. They only erase pieces of you, they never erased you. And that person has been waiting for you this whole time. And here's the beautiful part: healing isn't becoming someone new, healing is uncovering the person you never got a chance to become. So we're uncovering this person. Unfortunately, it erases it entirely, but pretend that this didn't get erased. And some of us aren't just finding ourselves again. Some of us, see if I can write with my right hand, are finding ourselves for the first time. We're getting parts of ourselves back as we keep a promise to ourselves here, put a boundary up there, listen to the music that we enjoy, take up a new hobby, you know, we slowly gain ourselves back. And some of us meet ourselves for the very first time. And what an incredible gift that is. I know some of you are scared. I was too, because healing asks you to let go of what's familiar, even if what's familiar is hurting you. I'm going to put this down and I'll put it in the back. So we're building ourselves whole again. Healing asks you stop chasing people who won't chase you. Healing asks you stop proving your worth. Healing asks you to trust yourself again. We're going to uncover all those words, get that joy back, get the voice back, the self trust, the peace, hope, dreams, self worth, boundaries, all of that. And it's terrifying. I'm not going to lie to you. Healing sucks sometimes, but it's also beautiful sometimes. It's also freedom. So here's my question for you guys. Not what did they promise you? Not what do you hope they change? What promise are you going to keep to yourself? I want you guys to put it in the chat. Ambidextrous. I try to be, but I can't write with my right hand. It would look like a doctor's a doctor's scribble. So maybe it's something like I promise to speak up. I promise to rest. I promise to stop apologizing for existing. I promise to trust my intuition. I promise to go to therapy. Stop chasing people. Promise to leave. Promise to love myself. Whatever it is, you guys, write it down. Because when you write it, you're making a commitment, not to me, to you. So whatever your promises are, whether you share them in the chat or write them down on a piece of paper, it's for you, you guys. If you want to share it, that's cool too, so others can maybe see. So this right here is healing, not because every problem is magically solved today, but because every single one of you is making a choice to stop abandoning yourself. And I want to leave you guys, yeah, never self abandon again. Thank you, Honey Pepper, for sharing that. I want to leave you guys with one final thought because people ask me this all the time. How do I know I'm healing? And here's my answer: you're healing when your relationship with yourself becomes more important than your fear of losing someone else. And that's like a bittersweet thing because I just told you what happened with my daughter. So let me repeat that. You're healing when your relationship with yourself becomes more important than your fear of losing somebody else. That's powerful. Healing and nurturing and listening to my desires and hope and faith. Thank you, Helen, for sharing that. Those are beautiful. So you guys keep that in mind, and I might post that in the community so we all can remember that. It's the to always choose yourself merch. I got the shirt and the coffee cup and all of that. So just to remind yourself, always choose yourself, and it's not in a selfish way because we've given up ourselves for everybody else for too long, and that's what got us in the narcissistic relationship. So your healings when your relationship with yourself becomes more important than fear of losing someone else. And it doesn't mean that you stop loving people, doesn't mean that you stop hoping, doesn't mean you stop showing compassion. It means you stop disappearing. We're not going to be crossed out again. So I've made a promise to myself I'll never abandon myself again. I'll have hard conversations. I'll own my mistakes. I'll apologize when I need to. I'll listen, I'll learn, I'll grow. You're welcome, Helen. Thank you for being here and sharing. Um, but I'll never make myself smaller just to make somebody else comfortable. Not anymore. That version of me is gone. How many of that version of you guys is gone? Put a hand up in the chat. And I hope after today, I genuinely hope after today you make that same promise to yourself. Because here's what I know: you deserve relationships where your voice matters, where your feelings matter, where your boundaries matter, where your dreams matter, where you matter. Not because you earned it, not because you proved yourself, simply because you're human. So you are human. Try this ambidextrous stuff will actually be me. My marker is me. And we're going to write promise. Promise. Because y'all are worth it. It's back here, cover this up because it's drying out now. Got to cover it. So this is what you want you to remember when this live ends, you guys. Not me, not this whiteboard, not even this conversation. Just remember the promise. The promise that no matter who walks into your life, no matter who walks out of your life, no matter who understands you or doesn't, you will never again be the one who abandons yourself. Because healing doesn't begin when someone else changes. Healing begins the moment you decide to keep promises to yourself. I love you guys. Thank you for trusting me with your stories every Sunday and for being here. If it this live helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. It's always going to be on my live tab on my page. And before you leave, or if anybody wants to come on and talk, you can go into my on my page on the post tab or in the community, and you can grab the link on today's live description. It's in there. So I'll give you guys a chance to do that if you want to. Um, you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. Just all your matters is your voice. I want to give everybody a chance to share. Um, and I wanted you guys to tell yourself before you leave that you matter too, and take care of yourselves and keep your promise. Always choose yourself. So now I'll open it up and I'll just wait a few minutes to see if anybody wants to come on here and grab that link and come on and talk. I know last week I wasn't able to grab it. That's kind of why I went back on my phone and did the live today off my phone, because for some reason when I go onto my laptop, it doesn't give me the link. So I don't know if I skipped a step and lost it somewhere, but I'll wait like 5 more minutes. And if anybody wants to come on and talk, let me know. If you want me to wait for you so you can grab that link, I will wait for you guys because I would love to talk to you. And I've been looking into Zoom because I can be on Zoom and YouTube and I think some other platform at the same time. The dilemma I'm running into is I don't want to put a link just anywhere for anybody to grab, because I like to keep our space safe for people that really truly want to heal and feel safe enough to share and be in our community. So that's the dilemma of trying to come up with how to get people the links without putting it all over the internet. Anyone Bueller? Who's Bueller? Are you reaching out to someone to come talk on the live? Let me know if you guys find it, because I think I might have it in my phone still. I just got to turn the phone around. If you guys want to come on and share. Honey Pepper, are you cleaning? Kelly, anybody who came in, I don't know who all is in here. It's an 80s movie reference. Oh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I think I missed something somewhere. What about that? That's a good movie. I think I missed a comment or that it might have disappeared. Yes, that's the one. Thank you. You're welcome, Kelly. I'll just keep waiting to see if anybody's trying to find the link or wants to come on. I miss talking to y'all and hearing your voices. But if you guys aren't up for coming on, that's okay too. I understand. I'm not going to push anybody. Let's see, it's 1:22. I'll wait till, let's see, it'd be 1:27 in 5 minutes. Drop the link in the chat, Adrian. Okay, hang on. I got to turn the phone around now. Oh, shoot. Will it let me do this here? Chat viewing options. I don't know if. Okay, it's not letting me. You guys, why won't it let me put it in here? This is one thing that I'm having trouble with. Um, it's not letting me drop it in the chat, you guys. That's the one reason one thing I can do on my computer, but it won't let me do it on my phone. Send messages, a live chat. So you guys are gonna have to go in and you guys are gonna have to go into my page on the tabs and shoot, I gotta turn it around. Yeah, you're gonna have to go in on my page and it's got today's live on it. What am I doing? I really can't wait till I get another computer. Sorry, you guys. Oh Lord. Okay, so yeah, I know it's in there. I posted it in the community before. Did I do it again? I can't. The TV is delayed, so I can't tell what I'm doing. The confusion, the madness of life. All right, I guess I can put it right here. I don't need to watch myself on the screen now to see you guys. I can't, Adrian. I can't drop it in the I can't drop it in the chat. For some reason, it won't let me. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, you guys, it's in the community. I'll show it. I always post my lives and what we're going to talk about in the community. So it's in the comments. If you guys go on there, the link is in there, and I'll give you a chance to find it. Lord, won't you buy her a color TV? I do have a color TV. Oh Lord, need another computer. I need like 2 or 3 computers to like multitask when I do these lives because I got my notes and I got other notes and okay, here we go. She found it. I hope we don't have a sound problem. Let's see. So Katie's going to be on here. Yay, there she is. You found it.
Well, I had my assistant helping. So,
Oh, good. Thank you, Adrian, for your assistance.
yes. Okay. So, to everyone out there, please pardon me for my lack of participation. I have had a health concern Um, Years ago, when I was a much bigger person, I had very high sugar. You know, at 500 pounds, yeah, you're going to have high sugar. But then bariatric surgery, 2015, dropped all that weight. Woohoo. Well, it still came back at me. So uh, I have healed myself mentally. Now I have to heal myself physically and continue dropping more weight. So otherwise, I have had a visual anomaly happen. So I am down to 45% of my vision. And it was instant when I wrote
Mm.
in Sunday, and just like be so darn positive that it weeds out all the negative people. Well, I shot myself in the foot because it was like I ended up having an anomaly. So I can see reflection and I can see my own movement, but like my current family, they're all blur faces.
Mm-hmm.
So the my
Wow.
connection to all this is that um, when you're diabetic, you always have to look out for like diabetic retinopathy. That's what they always talk about. Blah blah blah. Never had it. When I was in my last relationship with Mr. Special, um, he stressed me so hard that I ended up having like a leaked vessel in my eye. And so, we kept up on it until he started having hissy fits. And it's like, oh God, we have to go to the doctor again. Why can't you do it? Why don't you do, the nagging or negging, which
Right.
either one. Yeah. So that's when I started noticing these little, which I thought were floaters. They're not floaters. It was little leaks of blood. So when I even went to my eye doctor, she's like, no, it's just a floater. Don't worry about it. Well, out of the blue, come Wednesday morning, so July 1st, all of a sudden I went from clear vision to like a double gray veil. And I call it a tuft of hair hanging down to like 50% of my eye. It's
So
because of the
scary.
stress. Yeah, it was because of the stress that I was put under.
Wow.
Because my former relationship was not only verbally abusive, he was physically abusive, he was financially abusive, and Lord, everybody knows near me that he tried to take my spirit or have me end myself.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. So now
Thankfully.
physically,
So
yeah,
glad.
yeah, it was a lot of prayer to God because it was like, let me know if I don't need to be here. We'll take care. God's never going to answer that one. We were put here for a purpose. And so, yeah, so this there's a lesson in this. I don't know what it is because I don't have clear vision. So like even dealing with my phone, I can see like some reflection, but I can't read the text. So yeah, that's why there's much less jokes today. But
Yeah.
what I
Understandably
want
so.
what I want to tell everybody is like, yay, we've healed mentally. We are healing mentally. Yay. The narcissist hates that. They hate it because they can't and they won't and they cannot
Yeah.
choose for themselves. We
Mm-hmm.
can. So kudos, big medals, solid glass of water with ice. Really good one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to also focus on our physical. So
Yeah.
when life does occur and people that we love still don't reciprocate that, that's the
Mm-hmm.
point of letting them go. Because
Right.
if someone chooses to put you in stress, they
Mm-hmm.
choose to fuck with your health and they get to walk away.
Yeah.
You get to suffer.
No more. We
And yeah,
don't do that no more.
no more. But
Do not cross go. Do not collect $200.
I don't want their $200. They can F off with that damn car.
Yes.
Keep your kitty and all that other shit.
Stress trauma.
Um, yeah. So yeah,
Oh wow,
it's
somebody else went through that. Helen says
yeah,
stress trauma contributed to my retina detachment in both
yep,
eyes a week apart after my late beloved mother. Oh wow. She's
yeah,
been through it too. They absolutely do cause havoc
yeah.
with your health, your body, everything. Like wow.
Everything. I mean, there's all the vanity stuff we have as women, but there's no point of having any vanity if you can't see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
It's really irritating to me right now, and so um, it. I did run in luckily my adult son was off work that day, and I'm like, "Hey, honey, we got a problem." And he's like, "What's going on, Ma?" And I'm like, "I can't see shit." Somebody could be making faces. I couldn't see them. And so, two doctors. It was not a detachment at all. My retina's still attached. Yay! I had lots of numbing and lots of dilating of the eyes. That was not the bad part. That's when they figured out about the one small vein just finally gave and started leaking blood everywhere. So that's what I'm dealing with was the leaked blood, and that's giving me the gray veil. So the blood has dissipated, but then we are made up of carbon dioxide. So, the ash of it is what is constantly falling for me. And I feel like I'm like a ghost bride because everything's like gray or light gray or cream colored. So it's like wearing a veil the whole time. And I'm, I'm
Swatting
having
at
trouble
it.
getting, yeah. So
Right.
yeah, it's just like that shit started when I was with the last jackass and I let it go. I let it go because I thought, oh, well, I can push through because that's how I was trained. That's how I was conditioned. Always push through.
Yeah.
No more
Suck it
pushing
up,
through.
Buttercup. Yeah. We were
Yep.
told suck it up, suck it up.
Get over it. Get over
Yeah. Get
yourself.
over it. Move on
What's the most famous 80s phrase? Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry
and
about.
cry about. Yeah.
We let that enter into our relationships. And so now
Absolutely.
now I'm, because how many times did the narcissist start saying shitty things to make us burble cry like children, like,
Yep. It
because you
was all
don't want
familiar
to.
to us. It's all
Yeah.
familiar.
Because you don't want to cry in front of them because they'll ramp it up. They'll harm you, if
Hmm.
not physically, mentally. They'll continue in because it's not like they love you, but you're like, I'm hoping for love because deep down inside you deserve love. But
Hmm.
that crap wasn't love. So, yeah.
No.
Nope. So,
Quite the
yeah.
opposite.
Quite yeah. And now we know. So, not only do we have to take care of ourselves physically, but we have to take care of ourselves mentally and continue going on. Because any amount of stress, that's the whole thing. I'm really disliking this because this is stressful. And that was my thing. I don't want to be in any more stressful situations. I can't handle that over the top stress. You know,
Hmm.
the, like a narcissist will provide for you. They will provide over the top because they want you to end yourself because they're jealous of you,
Hmm.
because you're resilient. You don't see
Right.
it. They make you not see it, like Glennis was talking about. They take everything away along with your resilience. They don't
Hmm.
have resilience. They can't even spell resilience.
Right.
They don't even want to spell resilience because
Yeah.
remember, they are the rotten fruit on the ground. They put in no effort except to demise you.
Hmm.
So right now, that's always a question in our head. What would you do if you seen your narcissist? I'd be swinging him. I'd be swinging at him. I can't
Well,
hit him.
I caught you with something, Sharon. There, don't say your. They're not ours no more. Don't
No,
claim that shit. No,
right. Don't
the
claim it, but
narcissist. Yeah.
the narcissist. There you go. So if you've seen that particular narcissist, and a lot of us have had many narcissists. A
Yeah,
lot of us have had
those
our first,
narcissists.
yeah, it was our parents or
Yeah,
parent, whatever. But
yeah.
once you have a parent, then you have a church leader, then you have a community member, then you have anybody that you look to as a small child that will start, because harming
Hmm.
someone is a weird human dopamine hit for a lot of
Yeah,
people. And so
or
once,
sadistic people.
yes, for sadistic people, low hanging fruit, rotten ground fruit, if they see a parent abusing a child, they're like, oh, I'm going to chime in. I can add to this, which is a big problem we're having in society right now.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so it's when you're conditioned like that to always sit and take it, it pops out in weird, weird ways. So you ended up in terrible relationships. And then you end up with, as you garner in age, you end up with weird physical anomalies that, two different specialists and doctors are like, I don't know what's going on. We just know oh geez. Thank you.
No, it's exhausting.
It is, because it's just like when you first discover that the partner is possibly a narcissist, first that breaks your heart because you're like, oh hell, that's not good. And then you get into your detective thing. Oh, yes, they are. Oh crap, how do I get out of this? What do I do now? But
Hmm.
then you go all the way back and realize, oh, I've been steeped in this the whole damn time. So many mental things hit you and stuff, and then it comes out as a
Yeah.
physical because the body keeps the score. And I'm just like, right now I'm really deep in prayer, and I'm like, was this the plan? Was this? I didn't put this in my. This was not on my bingo card. Am I
Hmm.
supposed to be learning a lesson right now? Because I'm having trouble seeing it, literally,
Right.
metaphorically.
Right.
I'm having trouble
Yeah.
seeing it. What's the point of this? I would like to go back to being, just my normal obnoxious self, which is okay. I can be whatever I want to be, you know. So yeah, that's the whole crazy thing out of all this. So yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
you
And
want to
that's why,
read, Glennis,
like,
go ahead and read,
huh?
because I can see
Oh,
that there's paragraphs going up. I cannot distinguish what
oh,
anybody's saying.
I don't see anything. Yeah. I
Oh,
don't think there's any new ones coming in, but, what was I going to say? Oh, brain fog.
there you go.
The ship sailed.
I know.
Uh,
But
no,
whatever
I
anybody was
think it was
writing.
that, where people think, I remember, and I don't know about you, but one time I thought, what, am I ever going to leave him? Is this relationship ever going to end? It just was like a never ending nightmare. And now I think that was the easy part.
Yeah.
This shit is the hard part because it's the residue, it's the leftover, it's the
Yeah.
collateral damage and everything that they cause, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So
It,
you're 2 years out almost and you're still going through it,
yeah. Well, I am two
you
years
know?
out. Yeah, I am 2 years out. And then all of a
When
sudden
was
this
the
hits.
Oh yeah, your date already passed. That's right. Because I
Yeah.
remember making you something in the community about that. That's right. So you're
Yeah.
2 years
And
out, you're still
yeah.
dealing with the shit.
Yeah. It's
So
I'm wondering, I'm not an expert. I haven't talked to any doctors about it, but it's just kind of like, if I'm finally calm enough and if I'm finally safe enough and secure in myself, because that's how I do feel. I do feel safe and secure in my home and in myself. Am I finally safe and secure enough that this is an effect from some time ago?
mhm.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
and
a
it's
weird,
finally catching up.
yeah, it's just a weird, I don't know,
That's
we'll
why,
call it
like,
conspiracy
these
theory.
aren't
Yeah.
relationships.
These
They're
are
not
not normal.
relationships you just get over. When someone says just get over it, you don't. It takes years to come back from
Years.
some of
I mean,
these.
the mental
You know.
reworking, the mental rewiring, because we're not just rewiring. At least I know Glennis isn't. I'm not. I'm not just rewiring from just one relationship. No, there's many.
Yeah, it's a lifetime.
And it's a lifetime. To me, I count it off as 56 years, and I will be 59 also this year. So it's like, okay, so 2 years of healing compared to
Mhm.
56 years of bull crap. Somebody else's bull crap. Finally put the bull
Yeah.
crap wheelbarrow down, tipped it over, kicked it twice, shot it once, just away. I don't want it anymore. And now it's still kind of like popping up for me. And now it's just like, oops,
I
let's,
wanted to ask you a question. Like, do you remember? Because, a lot of this is like healing from narcissistic abuse because we don't ever want to get in this shit again, is a lot
mm-mm,
of, shadow work and learning how to
tons.
be accountable. Like, that is hard for even normal people. Like, I don't know the definition of normal, but we're not narcissists, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
do you remember feeling like that? Like, in doing the shadow work and all the inner work, like how hard it is because we're so conditioned for us even to not take accountability or to get, you
Hmm.
know,
I
a little
don't want
bit
to.
shame going there.
I want to take it and twist it. It is not necessarily hard. We've lived hard. We know hard. We actually enjoy hard because guess what we can do? We can task up and over hard because we're great at moving around that damn boulder. What it is
Right.
hurtful. It's hurtful because I did that. I said that. I may not have meant it, but I did it and I hurt somebody. And so when you have to stop and take a look and go, oh, and then you want
Yeah.
to run to
But it,
that person because you probably do have, because it really does when you like you and I've talked about it. I am trying to be the generational trauma cycle breaker. My child, my
hmm
adult child, is the dead stop. You know,
yeah.
my child has seen everything that I went through and said, nope, I'm not doing that. I love my mom, but I'm not doing that. To where I have to heal everything up. So when you're, and that's part of your dark shadows, you know, uh, already been through
hmm
tier one into tier two. Tier two is worse than tier one. Holy shit. Because tier, I guess I can't see anything. um, but that's part of your tier, is you're gonna have to face yourself in the mirror. You're gonna have to face your demon. You're gonna have to face your shadow. The things that you can now understand you allowed. And it grates against like heavy duty sandpaper. It grates against your own soul and it hurts. It's hurtful
hmm
because,
hmm
but that's the power of being an empath because you see it, you feel it, you cry it out, you scream it out, you go shout at the trees, whatever. Then you march your butt right back in. You find the person that you can identify that you hurt and you have that instant conversation. Now, are they going to be graceful? No, no. They're going to unload on you. They're going to
Right.
unload and you're going to discover things you didn't even know you thought you knew. You had all of it. Oh, I know I did this. But no, they're going to come in with a bigger basket. No, you did that, mom. I apologize. That was not smart of me. That should have never been an
hmm
availability. I only see it now. I did not know then. And I apologize for not being unhealed. I apologize for having to heal. I apologize for a lot of things, but I will not apologize for being me. I am learning.
hmm
Yes, I'm 58, but I'm also kind of like 5 because it's,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
really
Because
in
we
my
have
head,
to
I'm like,
reparent. We have to reparent ourselves,
we have to do a better
and nobody
job of
taught
being
us
the,
that. So
nope,
we are
nope.
learning on
Yeah,
our own. We're out in the ocean trying to navigate all this by ourselves.
we are trying to keep our heads
Yeah.
above
It's.
water and take a beautiful deep breath of air, of freedom and life. And then we're also dragging along all of our ball and chain, torments and shadows and demons, but they're hanging out at the bottom of the ocean. And then if you have children of whatever age, you're still trying to keep them afloat too, and then
Right.
not knowing that everybody's going to be mad at you for that because
hmm
as your kids go, they want you to do better.
Yeah. It really
Yeah.
teaches you how strong you can be when
Yes.
you go up against this shit, because people have
You're
all the
going.
different, I don't know what,
Yeah.
call them what you will, demons, whatever,
Demons,
darkness
shadows,
is always
whatever.
going to try to bring down.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're always
And so you're, yeah.
going to try to bring down when you're trying to go towards light and make you feel better.
Your biggest, darkest shadow or demon or evil entity is just you. And it's hard because it's just like in all the
hmm
movies we've seen, they're just like you. So you're fighting against yourself. So the key is to stop fighting
hmm
and just go, okay, I did do that. Oh, that's terrible. I don't like that. That's not who I want to be anymore. That's not what I want to do. So, in my last
hmm
relationship, he really, really enjoyed, I mean, to a point of erotic. Um, when I would harp at him, when he would make me so mad, come on, go away, fuzzy stuff. He would He would make me so mad. I would go out of my character, and I would get angry, and thus I would turn into his mother. He loved it. I hated myself for it because I
Because it
didn't
was
know what.
familiar for him.
Yeah, it was familiar for him, but it was
Hmm.
out of character for me. So it's a double control. He had me pinned down to where I couldn't say or do anything, but he would have me act out of my own character, which made him feel relieved. So the more mean things I said to him, the more terrible behavior I had, the happier he was. And it was
Yeah, that
weird.
reactive abuse, but I like to call it reaction to abuse. They love that. Push your buttons and get
Yeah.
you to
And
explode because it's
yeah, to get you act out of character, to be not you. They supposedly fell in love with you
it's
because
like
of who you
soothing for
are.
them. It
Mhm.
right. It's like a pacifier for them. It
Mhm.
really is to get you to react like that.
Yeah, because whatever parent wound you have, his was a mother wound, of course. And so she did not like him. And yes, I did get to meet her, and she had me bowled over because it was, oh my god, I couldn't think or speak to be even but around her. She had such a bad vibe, and I'm just like, made me feel weird. And then she would have little side conversations with him all the time, and it was just so weird. It was like, here's my boyfriend, but he's talking to his mother as if she's the side chick. Blech, you know, and
Ellen
then,
says, set you free, emotional abuse triggered. Yeah.
yeah. And so, what was even creepier is that my boyfriend's mother was married. So, this was like her third marriage, but she offered up her husband to sit and talk with me about their personal lives while she spent time with her son slash my boyfriend at the time. It was just
Weird.
weird dynamics. So no wonder I ended up having anomaly now. But yeah, just consistency of stress. And that's the whole point of getting away from these people. They don't want to see you happy. They don't want to see you joyful. If they catch you being happy, if they catch you being joyful, boy, they got to come up with a penny excuse to make sure that you're down in the dumps, because they can
Hmm.
suck up your energy. That's how they live. They want to
Yeah.
suck up your energy and
Enmeshment.
yeah, enmeshment. And so it's like even
And then Honey Pepper says enmeshment. Yes. So
yeah.
if you could go back, like for anybody that's still in a relationship with a narcissist, what's one thing that you would tell them that you wish someone would have told you when you were in
Hmm.
that?
I think about that often. And it's just like, like we always do, run, 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 bitch, run, get the fuck out. We wouldn't have listened because we're in love
Right.
and we're loyal and
Or
we're
we thought we
stable.
were. We thought we were. Yes.
No,
Right.
we were stable and we were loyal to a turd. Shit flies, man. It's out. Shit's gone. They were never loyal. They were never stable. And when they would act out and you're like, okay, well, I'm done. That's when they come back and love bomb you. So it's a hard question because it's like, really, what would have convinced us, short of us being able to pull a Hermione off of Harry Potter and twist that necklace and go back and talk to ourselves? I'm the future you.
Right.
Bitch, I can't see now. Run
Right.
now. You know?
Because you
It,
can't
it,
break anybody else's trauma bond. You really can't. And that's a
nope.
good point. You really can't.
Yeah.
Kelly says, am I the only one on this site that was used by a narcissist not in a narcissistic relationship? What do you mean, like a romantic relationship, Kelly?
Because narcissist comes as friends. I've had several narc friends, ditched them all. Parents, mine are dead. uh, two husbands gone. Several relationships out. Everybody's blocked, and all their flying monkeys. Always remember, narcissists travel in an entourage. They may not seem like it, but they do. Either they're physically with them hanging out like they're a fucking celebrity, or they're online. Swear to God, social
Mm-hmm.
media is the biggest flying monkey there is. Um, and they'll triangulate you in a heartbeat. So coworkers, even if you're still maintaining it
Yep.
as some sort of a job, coworkers, they if they can't control you or they can't make you flirt with them or they can't make you the office wife or the office husband or office something, which is still cheating, um,
Right.
they will say and do anything to make sure that you hurt. You know, that's the narcissist, that's
Right.
their enjoyment. They get such an erotic high out of it. Yes, it's very sexual for them because they have no common sense of what love is. After all, what's my favorite phrase currently? I have gray matter. They don't. If
Mm-hmm.
you could actually see a scan of a
Yeah.
narcissist, a diagnosed narcissist brain, they're all over the internet. It there is literally a big blank space. It's kind of scary
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah, it
these
is
people are out there
scary.
driving.
And they don't,
These
they don't,
they're out there driving.
right.
You
They are.
know,
Yeah. And well, that's a whole other live that I wanted to hit on was how they use vehicles for control and to scare you.
yeah. The narc relationship that I was involved in all the time, and then he got brazen. He went to go pick. We were out visiting his favorite flying monkey and her husband. I didn't know any of that at the time. Now I have labels. Driving in my vehicle. We're going for a lovely Sunday country drive, and he's, decide. I could see the smirk. I could see him in the rearview mirror because I had to sit in the back. Ooh, and I could see his smirk in the rearview mirror, and it scared me instantly. And all of a sudden, because our country roads are bowed, and then you have a 6-foot gully on each side for rain runoff. And I started watching him because you become when you realize where you're at, you become a pattern watcher, whether you know it or not, whether you admit it or not. You watch patterns. So
Mhm.
I clocked the the narc smirk, and then I leaned a little bit, and his favorite flying monkey was sitting next to me. And she's like, "Oh, you want to snuggle up?" I'm like, "Not with you." I'm Start watching his hands, and all of a sudden, seriously, and it was literally throwing my vehicle, which I drive a Jeep, which they're top heavy. It was making it rock, and he would laugh. He would laugh, ha
Oh
ha, I got
God.
you all. Yeah, and he was sober as a judge. He just decided to do that because he wanted attention. So yeah, he
Hmm.
will pin down everybody. All narcs pin every. If they can get a crowd, they'll pin the entire crowd. Adults, children, pets, livestock, whatever, name it. They'll pin it all down. They
Hmm.
don't care about you.
Nope.
You know, nope.
And they don't
Eh,
ever want connection. It's all about control. The C
Yeah,
word. Hey, Kelly
yeah. There.
said this. I'm not this spirit, and he just knew I was at my lowest point, and he ran with it. No friends, no relationship, or nothing. He
Mhm.
had me hooked.
Yeah, he had you tethered. He loved you for whatever capacity a narcissist can have for love, which is shit. Um, he loved it. That's what they really plan on doing is to have you so demised physically, mentally, financially, spiritually that you just want to end it for yourself. Mine had
Hmm.
2 trophies. So mine tipped to psychopath. That's when you know you have a serious narc problem. It's nothing wrong with having ashes of a loved one because that does occur. You have someone that you love and cherish all your life, and then they pass, whether it's an elder, it can happen in childhood friendships, blah, blah, blah. A narcissist will keep the ashes, fight with everybody about it, and then put them up as trophies because a narcissist got them to themselves. And that was his. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know it. So, and when he would tell me certain stories, and I'm like, aren't you sad that they chose to do that? It was their choice. Who am I to tell them any different?
God, so
I,
sick. Ugh.
yeah. One was his actual own daughter.
Wow.
The other one was the best man at his wedding, and the other one was identified as homosexual. Now, guess what we learned once we went into the detection of narcissists? Oh, so the one person that he did really probably have some love for, yeah, because
Wow.
yeah, and he was proud of that shit, and he was very mad that in his divorce, his wife, his ex-wife, kept all the ashes. He was so pissed. He wanted all the ashes. I'm like, you don't want your child back or your former best friend's ashes. Nah, I just, he just, they were his. It's his, not anyone else's. His.
Like a possession. Yeah, possessions.
Because you are
That's
nothing
so
but
sick.
an object. Even his own flesh and blood
Hmm.
was nothing but an object. And it was just like the
Yeah,
more I
really
learned, the more, yeah. Ugh. There's times
disturbing.
it's psychopathy. I'm just like, oh my God, it still dings me. I'm like, I'm lucky.
Hmm.
I'm really lucky because that was one of our conversations at the very end that he was threatening to get a pew pew and end me because
Hmm.
I made him put groceries away. Ooh, seriously, it's that simple.
Yeah, and I used to think that my daughter always used to say, "Mom, I'm afraid he's going to kill us." And I used
Hmm.
to say, "Nah, I don't see him doing that, but you can never
You
put
can't.
anything past them because not too long after she said that, he made the offer."
Hmm. The whole thing is what you can learn
I-
is that you cannot trust someone that will not trust themselves. You cannot love
Yeah.
someone that does not love themselves. You cannot help
Hey
someone
Sharon,
that will not.
can I interrupt
Yeah,
you just for a second? Because
sure.
I don't know if YouTube will strike me. So if you want to take a hit, like do it off the screen, that's what I have to do because I don't know how
Oh,
strict they are about that. You know.
sorry. I can't see squat diddly.
I
Pardon
wish
me.
I could. No, no, you're good. You didn't know. It's okay. I
Yeah,
can't wait to try those. By the way, because we're trying to
yeah,
stop vaping. So
yeah. Huh. Well, that's I can't do coffee anymore because that spikes your blood pressure, and then can't do cigarettes or vaping because it has nicotine, which spikes your
yeah,
blood pressure, which will spike your blood sugar, which will cause more problems. I'm like, oh my God. So
yes, I
not
know.
only do I go
Yeah, Hava
mostly
Java
blind in
said
one
so.
day. Go ahead.
So glad you're still here. Yes, we are still glad that Hava Java said so glad that you're still here. Talking about you. Yes,
Yeah,
that you're still here and blessed.
yeah. I mean,
Yes,
it's
vaping. I feel it in my chest. It's bad for us. Period. So it's
it
bad for
makes us sound
anybody.
like the
But since
old
you,
old crones with the crackly voices, and I'm like, look, I know I'm getting older. I don't
yeah,
want to go full on witch at this point in time. I want to start scaring
right.
people because I'm
I know.
awesome.
I know
You
what you're
know,
talking about because my voice changes sometimes too, and it'll like crack. Like even on some of my videos, you can hear my
Mhm.
voice like wow, I
Waking up in
really
the
need to
morning and
quit.
you're like trying to cough up your left lung just to be able to take a hit of mouthwash and spit that
Yeah,
back out. It's like, no, isn't it? So, yes, you got to take care of
it,
yourself
yeah.
and find a good
It
balance.
produces a lot of mucus. We
Oh,
don't want mucus.
no, and it's so ridiculous. I had stopped smoking when I found out that I was pregnant. The minute I found out I was pregnant, boom, gone, done. So,
Like cold turkey.
yep, cold turkey drove everybody nuts. So not only was I pregnant, stopped smoking cold turkey. The my husband at the time, the father of the baby, I made him go smoke outside. He couldn't smoke anywhere near me because the baby. So it was 25 years, no smoking. You know, parents came and went, family came and went, relationships came and went. Got together with one true narcissist, the psychopathy.
Hmm.
And what did I start doing? Smoking.
Smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, same, same.
Yeah. Because
Helen said, what did you replace coffee with?
well, Deanna brought it up before, but I do have Rise, and just found out where I'm at. They have a drive-through coffee shop, and it's called 151 Coffee. They do have decaffeinated, you know.
Hmm.
So decaffeinated, the mushroom coffees, a lot of prayer. It's just like, because yeah, everything is an addiction. Everything is an addiction.
Hmm.
And just that's the same thing I realized with what is our, when you have to look at yourself, what is our attraction to them? Because really, when you stop and you take a look at the previous relationships that you were in, these sloth looking a-holes. It's like, what the hell? What am I seeing? What did I think? I'm like,
I don't
they're
know.
dark magic.
Sloths are cute. Sloths are
No, I'm
cute. We'll
talking,
have to find something else.
no, sloth from Goonies.
Oh,
Sloth from Goonies.
yeah. Oh,
Or
okay.
like a hippo's ass. I don't know, but it's any jackass. They're kind of cute, but yeah, they're a jackass. But yeah, it's like what brought you in, and that's just their dark magic. And then to fit in with them because that's our previous problems that we didn't look at before. We didn't do the shadow work. We were always conditioned to fit in. If you find a groove, you're going to do your best to fit in. Now I'm just like, no, scratch that
Mhm.
record. I'm out. I do my own
I don't
thing
want
now,
to
but
fit in.
I don't want to
Yeah.
fit in. I
You don't
don't
want to
want to
fit in
fit
no
in.
more.
You know, I don't
Yeah,
want to fit in.
like Honey Pepper was saying earlier, like I did you go through this too? Like when you first got out of it, you know how you feel so lonely, like a piece of you is gone and it's hard to be alone. But now you embraced the alone time. Like
Yeah,
it's like a gift.
it is a gift now. Glennis, who is a gift.
Yeah.
I'm staring at you over here. Anyway, it's not that you feel alone. You're feeling extremely judged because as we go along, when do we have value as women? When we're married and we have the family and we have the white picket fence and we can handle everything because we're women, you
Disney
know,
movies.
Disney, yeah, Disney BS.
Hi,
And so,
Steve. Hi,
like
Steve.
in
Welcome
my
in.
mind, yeah, in my mind, when the relationship had ended, my artist picture of myself was very dark. That you got the sidewalls, you got the roof, you got the floor. It's very black, and then I'm in, just coddled up in the corner. I'm the only bright side of this whole dark situation. And I didn't understand it because, when you're right out of it, you don't know squat diddly. Um,
Yeah.
it's not until you become healed do you realize what I have. It's all over my house. It's a biblical phrase. I have it up on my wall. I can't see it. Pardon me, but it's a biblical phrase and it says, be the light. I've always went with that. And so
Hmm.
in my vision of me being stuck in the corner and I'm the only bright light at the time, I felt it was judgment upon me. No, it's me seeing my way out of that dark room because that's not where I belong. That's not where I fit. And anybody else in that room, I couldn't see their true selves, so it's time for me to leave that room. So,
Hmm.
that took a year and a half to figure that out. But, you figure things out after a while. It
Yeah.
really starts coming to you and it breaks your heart because you really did invest time. You invested money. Um, you invested your entire being into them. So joyful. So they're happy. So they feel like you do, because that's part of joy and happiness is like, being able to hang out with somebody and spend time with them and connect spiritually and, understanding each other, which is what you're thinking you're doing in the beginning. But no, they're lying the whole time. They're lying to you. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I like this color. Oh, well, I love that color too. Oh, okay. Well, I like to wear this type of shirt. Oh, I like to wear that shirt too. And it's weird because you're, as a woman, the man's saying that he wants to wear women's shirts. What? Something we need to talk about. What? Get out of my underwear. Um, things you start discovering, and then it's just, but then your brain always clicks off to what you were taught as a kid. It's like, oh, don't question, don't question it, don't bring it up, don't be
Mm-hmm.
cross, because you won't fit in. You will
Mm-hmm.
not be accepted. You will not belong to something. And then you have no value, and then you have no worth. And that's the old way of thinking. So yeah. So that's how you know, because now you understand that that's crazy thinking. Who the hell would ever think that?
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of people,
And when I look back,
unfortunately.
like the whole system
Yeah.
teaches us how to be like
Hmm.
that,
Yeah. And we
even
didn't even
from
have
school
social media. Yeah.
teachers.
Yep. We didn't even
No.
have social media. You know, I distinctly remember being a small child, like third grade, and the teacher, way back in the day, they could teach us for a week, and then we had tests on Fridays, right? At least I did. And um, I had the teacher point blank told me, "You're going to get a B on your math, or you're going to receive a punishment." And I'm like, huh, you know, oh, good. And so I studied my butt off, just third grade math. And I didn't get a B. I didn't even get a B minus. But, as a child, you're taking the test. It's up to the adult to grade it. It was also up to the adult to teach it.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the end, of course, she marked not a B. So she got to walk me down to the office, and I literally got a paddling for not getting a B because she said I had to. So I went home and told my mom. Now, my mom was my narcissist. But nobody can beat the narcissistic supply like the narcissist. Nobody can do that. So she went to the school and had it out with the principal and the teacher at the time, and things changed. But it was like it's a constant groove in your record of your treatment. So in my little girl head, I could not comply with what that adult wanted from me. At least I thought I couldn't. But it's just like because couple years back when I was moving, I ran it. My mom kept all of my homework, which are like, what? Why? I, and I went back and I looked at that same damn paper, and I'm just like, out of 25 questions on a third grade math test, I missed two. Why was that not a B or an A?
Right.
Because that
Should
teacher
have
was a
been.
bitch. Yeah, that teacher was a bitch. She just wanted to paddle
Set
me.
you up for failure.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's that society thing. All society will come
Mm-hmm.
at you if it's allowed. Now,
Mm-hmm.
as parents, if you have small ones, how do you teach against that? I have no clue. I just know that when my child was in school, I was a big advocate for him because I wasn't going to allow any of that. And I got in serious arguments with the school counselors. Well, your child needs to do no. My child is not a robot. My child is a human. And so, if my child takes more than
Mm-hmm.
3 seconds to learn an equation or an English concept, if you dare punish him, I'm coming back in. My level of crazy.
That's why a lot of people homeschool.
Yeah, yeah, and I did after a while. I got tired of it because in fourth grade, his little elementary school teacher, she loved to go toe to toe with me, and she lost a lot because I was not going to have my son demonized or considered, less than. like I was allowed to be considered less than. I'm like, no, no
Hmm.
one, no one, even a genius. Go ask a genius to figure out the math equations in 3 seconds. Go right ahead. Or figure out like the English
Hmm.
concepts with all the parallelograms and the divisions and all this. Not everybody catches on at the exact same time, and that's the whole point. So yeah, I wasn't going
Yeah,
to allow
the
that.
whole
But yeah,
setup for failure,
yeah,
which reminds me of that video I saw with that little boy with the water. His mom just set him up to fail just so she could punish him because how is a child that young going to hold that heavy water case? And then
exactly.
when he
That was,
dropped it, she smacked him.
oh yeah, she whopped stuffings out of him. And then what really ticks me off about that, because I seen that video, we talked about it. The person filming. Why didn't that person
I think
filming
it was
just?
a camera set up. I think it was a camera set up in their apartment complex. They
I
probably pulled from it.
If it's the same video that you're
I'm not
talking about, the
sure.
one that I've seen was that there was an actual visual view of the door to that apartment, the person filming. There was a visual, there was a door right there, and they just had it open enough because she could hear that mother yelling at that child in the hallway because apartment hallways echo, especially enclosed ones.
Oh,
And
maybe
so,
there's
yeah,
different videos. I didn't see that one with the door open.
yeah, but and then if you don't connect in your head, you're not going to see it. But I distinctly remember that because
Okay.
it was just a small, door open and filming. And I'm like, how are you not dropping your phone and running out there
Doing
to
something.
doing something to at least
Okay.
reprimand her? Because my first initiative thing is to smack her back, but then the child doesn't need to see that. That's going to be cognitive dissonance for them right off the bat, so you don't want to add to that. But it's like, why is why didn't the person run out there and say, hey, stop, just stop? They didn't. And that's the whole thing with our current community, is that everybody will click. Oh, let's watch the murder happen. Oh, let's watch the physical abuse happen. Oh, let's watch people fight and beat each other up. For
Hmm.
why? So you can get the
So they can
accolades
get
of
some
standing
clout
there?
on social media. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get that stuff, and that's not of my age group. That's not of who I am. If I see things like that, oh
Hmm.
no, you know. So,
Yeah.
but
I would lose my shit.
yeah, especially, yeah, because
Honey
that
Pepper
particular.
said, I was just going to read this. My sister used to steal my clothes when we were younger. She turned out to be the narc.
Oh yeah, and that's what children do. You go, like I said before. My analogy of that an empath and a narcissist are from the same tapestry. Empaths were right and narcissists are left. That's just me. There's no professionalism in it. I'm not an expert. I just lived it. So, if a child chooses to emulate the parent so they can fit in, there you go. That's where the narcissism comes in. And I lived that. I became empathic. My elder sibling became the narcissist. And boy, did she love that person. God, did she love that person. My mom did. And
Yeah, they're the golden children,
and I admired him because
golden child.
you know um, my elder sibling would get all the praise and admiration and love and hugs and kisses, and just she would dote on him like golden child, and I was the worker. Just, you know but in the end, I was the one that was
Scapegoat.
there. Yeah. In the end, I was the one that was there for her during her passing, and I'm the one that was she. Like I had said last time, that's when she finally had said, "You were the best kid." You know, you
What were
had
you
30.
what were you thinking when she said that? What was that like for you when the moment she said that?
Well, okay. So I'm looking down. My mom is in process of passing, and I'm trying to hold her hand, and it's going to be okay. I'm here. I'll take care of everything. Just If you need to go, it's time to go. Things will be taken care. So I'm reassuring. And she could barely speak because that is something that does occur. And she's like, she waves to me, come here, come here. And so I lean down. I'm like, you know, okay, say what you got to say. And then she whispers, you were the best kid. And fucking dies right then and there. So I had no time to think. So it was just like, oh, shit. What? You know? And so then I go into task mode
Wow.
because, yeah. So in I grew up Catholic. Um, my very first major paying job, I was a home health aide, certified nurse's aide. So I go into the body task because rigor mortis sets in quick. Ooh, and it's ugly. And so, automatically shut her eyes, shut her jaw, tied like I had a cloth or a long sock or something so the jaw stays shut. Put the quarters over her eyes because that's value. And she didn't have on shoes. I crossed her arms over. You're not supposed to do that, but it's what I did. And I walked, got up, went out, had to tell my dad. He lost it. My brother had to go in and see what was going on. Luckily enough, there was a pastor, preacher, whatever, right there to give last rites. He'd already done that for her. So, then family prayers. And my brother was trying to sell internet to the pastor. And I literally just had to stomp on his foot and slap him in the face. Shut up, freak. And he's like,
It's not the
what? I'm
time
trying
or
to make,
place.
yeah, I'm just trying to make some money here. And I'm like, she ain't even, she ain't cold. She just,
Right. And
ugh.
you're thinking about money.
Yeah. So yeah, my
Wow.
feelings, my feelings weren't even allowed 2 months later because my dad was lost, which that makes sense. And then I had to gather all family, make all the arrangements. Thank God everything was mostly set up. They were smart enough for that. But, going through all that and really we didn't even have her funeral almost like 3.5 weeks later. So all family could come in, which is creepy to think about. Well, but in that process, they had to gather. We had to her younger sister, which is my final aunt at this point in time, had to come in and assist me. Thank goodness. And we had to gather clothing because she and my mom had talked about it already. And so I had to gather clothing and any other articles that we wanted her to be buried with and all this. And the whole time, my brother was just trying to sell internet or make money off the family while they're visiting.
All he was thinking about is with himself while you're picking up the pieces. And
Yeah,
what
which yeah, nothing new. That was normal. Everything would always
what were
crash
your
out.
what were your feelings after your mom passed because she was the narcissist and was so abusive? Was there grief, like relief? I mean, what?
It was a mixture of both. It was grief because this is my entire world. This is the only thing that I know, short of, outside world, right? So your family is your core being. So it was grieving and then shame and then guilt because my biggest feeling was relief. That bitch is finally going to
Mhm.
shut up. She's going to stop yelling at me.
Right.
She's going to stop
She
cursing me.
can't hurt me no more.
She
Yeah.
can't hurt. Well, that's the fantasy. That bitch has stayed in my head for 20 plus more years. Just she lived free
Right.
for a long
But you didn't
time.
know that at the time. You didn't
No.
know that at the time, though, when she passed until, years
Yeah.
later when you're still trying to heal from it.
Yeah. And it took so long for me because my dad was very, very sick at the time. So that just threw him. My brother was hell bent on trying to end my dad, because my brother was like, look, the quicker they die, the quicker we get money. I'm like, what's wrong
That's
with
all I
you?
cared about.
That's all I care. That's she raised him to do that. I used to take that guilt
Helen
on.
said, did you ever feel like an orphan? Helen is asking.
Oh yeah, I was adopted. So I felt like an orphan the moment I could comprehend the words. My mom had a story. She'd always just beat me down with it. Was like, you've always told me that I was not your mom. I've just never liked you because of that. I mean, she could literally say that. I've never really liked you because of that, because you hurt me. Now, did she ever explain why I said that? She knew that. She signed the papers. She didn't say anything until I was 25. But that whole time, she held it over my head. I don't like you because. But as a little baby,
Mm-hmm.
um, evidently, from what I was told, my parents were active duty. My dad was active duty army at the time, so they were over in Germany, and so they had met a young German woman, and she had her own life complications and a pregnancy, and so my parents had adopted previously, and so she thought that they would be a great candidate, which at the time, Germany had a clause due to World War II to quicken adoptions to Americans. Okay. Whole big crazy rabbit hole thing. If you want to go down it, take a candle. Um, and so the adoption was fairly quick as adoptions go, because it really only took like a year and a half. So, and that's fairly quick as adoptions go, especially when it's from one country to another. And so, evidently, while my parents were stationed in Bamberg, she was from a village up in the Alps. And so, she and some of her family would come down on, take a train down and come literally visit me to spend time with me for the, first year to, acknowledge me. And, so, I didn't know any of that. I did not know any of that until I became an adult and got in a fight with my mom. Who's this picture? Why are these people here? Who are they? Because as an adopted child, you do not have the security of looking at your family and going, yeah, I'm part of them. So I was always
Mm-hmm.
insecure because I looked nothing like them. Nada, nada, nothing. And, my mom would, oh, you look like your grandma. I'm like, grandma's really short. And yeah, she's kind of big, but she had different eye color. She did had different hair color. We did not have facial features. I matched no one, and so I would always rebuke that, and which would upset my mom because I wasn't believing her story. And so that would be more garnered of abuse. And so yes, to feel orphaned, yes, that was I never belonged.
Gaslighting you.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
never
felt like
belonged.
you never fit in.
Yeah, I
Yep.
never belonged. And then she would even take it to the point where I'm a girl. She refused to buy me dresses because I was too big. And the whole time I thought it was because of like weight gain, which yes, I was becoming a heavy set child. No, in the end, my standing height is 5'11", so I was a big child even when I was a small child. My assumption is that I come from barbarian stock. We'll go with that. And my mom was 5'4". So even as what I'd be considered as a small child, hell, I was almost eyeball to eyeball with her. Especially as I
Mm-hmm.
got like, 6 and above, I was eyeball to eyeball with her. And she would not buy me dresses because I was too big. Now, as a child, I thought it was because I was too fat. And then that was my thing. I'm like, you're the one buying the food. And smack.
Right. But that was your
Don't have
fault
your
too, somehow.
Yeah, don't have your
That
own
was your
thoughts.
fault too, somehow.
Don't have your own opinions. Don't think for yourself. Don't state the obvious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Helen says rejection complex.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Well, projection complex. I would, because that was just her. She was not big enough. You
Hmm.
know, as I continue to grow above her, because narcissistic moms, they always have to be above you. All of them. All of them have to be above you. And if whether you're the empathic or narcissistic child, the narcissistic parent has to be above you. So, yeah, because they'll retort back. They'll even get mad at their golden children. They'll treat them like shit for a little bit and really mess up the house. But yeah,
Yep.
they have to be above. So as I continue to grow, naturally, I couldn't stop it. I mean, she could, but then there's prison time involved with that. Oh Lord, um, she just hated the sheer fact that I was growing. She hated the sheer fact that I had, when I was a child, I had the, beautiful platinum blonde hair and the big blue eyes and the pale skin. And, she didn't, you know.
Hmm.
Now, she always had auburn hair and I loved her auburn hair. I thought it was amazing, because you want to look at your parents and I could see love and joy to them, you know, but she could not give that back to me. I didn't know that as a kid. Most of us will not know that. It's not until we get well into our adulthoods to ever be able to
Hmm.
comprehend that. And then, another level of hurt. It's like, you really hated me that much that you couldn't even give me common decency? But you adopted
Right.
me? You paid for me? You
Yeah.
signed government papers. It,
Yeah.
it's mind boggling. And it's just kind of like one of those many things that I'm working towards, of just kind of letting go. There's a lot of it that I can, obviously, so I can speak about it. I can let it go, but it's just like, the main point is that it goes so in depth. Like Glennis was saying before, narcissistic abuse is never visual. It's rarely visual. Let me try that again. Rarely visual. Narcissists
Hmm.
live for dark corners like a friggin' roach,
Hmm.
parasites. And so once they get you tethered or locked down, it's the little insidious things that they love saying to you. Oh, I like you better without makeup. I like you better without those fake nails. I like you better, when you're not so boisterous. I like it better when you're this. I like it better when you're that. And so when you're someone that has been trained to fit in, to be conditioned, boom, that's easy. I can be whatever you need, just as long as you show me
Hmm.
some love, and I'll show you all mine.
Yeah. They
So that,
throw you breadcrumbs.
yeah,
Here's some
which
breadcrumbs.
which now, at my level now, at my level of healing, yeah, that upsets my stomach just to think about. It really just, bleh. I'm like, how, the kids' term for nowadays is simp, and it's shortened for simple.
Hmm.
Even if they don't know, you're being a simp. And so it's like what you are giving, because you're thinking that love is give, 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 which it's not. A narcissist concept of love is take, 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 take. So that's why they
Hmm.
fit so well with us. That's why they search us out.
Yeah.
We are gifts. We are gifts to the world, but we didn't know how to harness our gift. We didn't even know that we were a gift. That's just something Glennis and I had been talking about just briefly last week. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting concept. I never thought of myself as a gift. But why shouldn't we? If you have abundance
Right.
of love and abundance of understanding, and we're having to work on pulling back our tolerance of everybody else's bullshit. So we're working on it. But you have an abundance. That's a gift. That's a rarity. Because we've all met that jackass, male, female, pet, store manager, whatever.
Hmm.
We've all met a jackass, several of them. The whole trick is not to fall in love with them or follow them anywhere.
Yeah.
they're on a road to nowhere. And they'll take you with, oh my God, they're actually on a road to hell, and they're gathering souls. to replace theirs for when hell does call for them. I brought in, they're being, the devil's minions. They're bringing you more souls.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say the whole point of this is to get you to release your soul, and because, you know, yeah,
Yep.
and that's their cash
And
payment.
make you invisible.
And so that's
Make
why
you
when they age,
invisible. If not,
yeah, that's why when they age and they lose their
oh,
charm, all their stuff, that's when they know their time is coming, and then that's when they get worse and more angry and more
hmm,
crazy. Their behavior is off the wall, even more
man,
than you
I'm glad I'm not
expected.
around to see that. I'm so glad we're not around to see it. Helen says, my ex husband didn't know how to nor capable of loving me, but he resented and hated me. Oh, yeah, they're very good at resenting and hating you. They don't know
With
how to
an
love,
that was your,
unfortunately.
yeah, for Helen, that it was your narcissistic husband's version of love. So if you took out the time to ask him, I do not recommend. Don't get anywhere near it. Um, he would, yeah, I loved her very much. I showed her love all the time. That's what he told everybody else. That's what he told you on occasions. It's what they're upside down. They're backwards.
It's their it's their own twisted, what is that, backwards walking giraffe. The
Yes.
T on NPD says the
Yeah.
backwards walking giraffes. They think opposite of us.
It's
So
always opposite
opposite.
day. Yeah. Because it's like, for them, hate is love. For us, love is love and hate is hate. We can distinguish the difference because we have gray matter. Woo, we have gray matter. And
Hmm.
they don't.
Yes, and we also can see the gray in between where they all are black or white. They have black and white thinking. There's no in the middle.
Yeah.
You're either one
And,
or the
and
other.
yeah, and especially when you're around the narcissist and something off, traumatic, risky crisis just occurred, and you're like taken aback, like, did you just do that? Did you just say that? What do you mean by that? And then they go right into rewrite. I didn't say that.
Mhm.
What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need to?
Right.
You got a fever? I oh, oh my god. And you're like,
And I
no,
remember
it just
those
happened.
moments like where you get that, like, I don't know if you got this like tingling sensation in your body, like your body's going, what?
Yeah. Your
What
spidey
the fuck?
senses are
Because
going.
I know what I just heard. Yeah, and like that drop in your stomach and all those horrible feelings where you're the
Yeah, and
confusion
then
that they love.
yeah. And then my favorite was, I was like, no, no, you just said, and then they always come back. Who can clock in with this one? You live in the past. Motherfucker, that was
Yeah.
3 seconds ago. It was
I
three
know. It
seconds
could
ago.
be a second ago and it's still the past.
You jerk. You just
Yeah.
farted. You just ripped one. It's still lingering. It's right there. Just like,
But that was in the past.
why do you live in the past? There's something wrong with you. You're always living the. God, you're sensitive. I can't be myself around you. Remember those conversations?
Yeah.
I'm just calling you out because you shit in the chair. I ain't cleaning that. But I mean, literally, they will do whatever
But it wasn't
wackadoodle thing.
them. It
It
wasn't
wasn't
them.
them.
They'll blame the dog. The
You'll
dog did
you'll
it.
you're making it, and they'll get crowds of people to believe it. Crowds,
Yeah.
even though the entire crowd just seen the narcissist, do whatever they're or say whatever they're doing or whatever action, whatever words. The entire crowd just watched it, and
Magdalena.
then yeah, and everybody's like,
Rewrite the
oh,
past for what they did.
mm-hmm.
Yes. Hi, Magdalena. Welcome in. Yep. They rewrite the past for what they did with
And it's barely
everything.
passed. It's like 3 or 5 minutes ago, and you're still reeling
Yeah,
in the
it could be
feeling of like,
it could be a nanosecond ago. It could be a nanosecond. And why are you holding on to the past? I want to
and
move
then
on and move for the
yeah,
future. Don't you?
and so Yeah. And then this is so it becomes all your fault. But your body is just like going into an anxiety, a panic attack. And but you know that if you visually show that you're having a panic attack because of their action, your reaction, you know that you're going to get berated, belittled, possibly physically abused, probably because you're reacting to
Mm-hmm.
their action. So then it is the pressure on you is even more because you can't show your panic. So then it's on you to shut up and calm yourself. Very, very hard things to
Right.
do. It goes back to trying to shove a
Mm-hmm.
turd back up your ass. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's a little
It's not
messy,
no bueno.
but that's how they keep you at such a rate of anxiety all day long. They only have to perpetrate one goofy action because the minute you start calming down, that's when they give you the smirk. Mm-hmm. And they can go right back at it and they can just start right in on you again. So it heightens your
Mm-hmm.
anxiety again. You're not allowed to have a calm
Yes.
moment. You're not allowed to have a cognitive thought for yourself. So if you're raised
Nope,
as
you're
a
not allowed
child
to
like
be
that,
human.
nope,
You cannot
because
be
they're not.
human at all.
I
Magdalena
remember,
says maybe we went through this for our discernment and help others. They are assholes. Yeah, I've said before, like the one
sorry,
gift
Glenn.
that narcissists give us, that's okay.
Yeah,
The one gift that narcissists give us that I'm thankful for is they have brought us back to ourselves.
to
They have
whoever we
woken
were
us
supposed to be
up
in the first place.
to
Yeah,
come back to ourselves, who are we were supposed to be in the first place.
yeah.
Helen said it's like walking a tightrope with a blindfold. Exactly. Like eventually you're going to slip off of there, you know?
Don't don't forget the sharp swords and then hula hoop that's on fire. And then in the end, when you get
Oh,
through all of
yeah.
that, there's some very hungry tigers there. You can't see them, but you can hear them. So it's just like
Yeah.
because the end of their game is when they're off chart. They will go through all of their schemes and games to keep you. It is their normal nature to keep you pulled in and keep you at cognitive dissonance at all time. That's their joy. They get an erotic happiness out of it. So when you finally step
Yeah.
back and go, let me let me think here. Let me think. I don't like this, and you start bringing in your own thoughts. Your brain's starting to function. I mean, grant you,
Hmm.
I always said that my brain was a hamster, a three-legged hamster on a crooked wheel that's broke. Because that's how I felt after
Yeah.
all that crap. And so you're trying to get Stumpy to turn that wheel again. It's like bad gas. But you're successful. You start getting it to turn. It's wobbly and a little untrustworthy, but it's turning again. They will pull out all of their tricks, all of their games, they'll bring in their flying monkeys to tell you how worthless you are and to tell you how lucky you are to be with that jackass.
Them.
Them, yeah. And how they would, if your narcissist is male and then your narcissist has tons of female flying monkeys, all those ladies will come at you and go, "You're so lucky. I wish I could have him. He's such a loving, sweet person." And you're just, your brain has just flipped and shit itself because it's just like, no, no.
Yeah.
I
They
often
have
think of
no
being,
clue what they're saying.
yeah, I often think
When
of being
when
with a
you set
narcissist.
boundaries, they get more nasty, Magdalena says. When you
Yes,
set
because they
boundaries,
have
they get
to.
more nasty.
They have to because when you set a boundary, you're stepping out of their control and they want all of your strings. They want your money string,
Hmm.
they want your soul string, they want your heart string, they want your mind string. They want to be you, but they can't.
You want me to open the door? Hang on, I gotta open the door for Hachi. She's whining to go potty.
Oh,
I don't
wanna
know
go
if
potty?
anybody else wants to come on and talk. Let me know in the chat.
Yeah. Gonna have to speak up because I can't say anything. But yeah, narcissists just want to it's really sick when you stop and think about it. They have attached themselves to you because they want to be you. And it's not just a
Yes.
heterosexual, homosexual thing. What an empath truly possesses is the gift from God that we are internal light. So we can not only see beyond ourselves, we can see beyond a person, because we will meet people all day long, and everybody has a mask, it's like, whether you're at work or going to the store, grocery store, whatever, we have our public mask, our way of being. But when you're empathic and you have a light, you get to see beyond that. So you get to see the hurt and wounded
Mm-hmm.
child that's standing in the 50-year-old's body,
Mm-hmm.
So that is a gift. But we, just like receiving a gift, you have to read the instructions, you have to be taught how to utilize it. Now, as children of narcissists, we received the gift. We were not allowed to read squat diddly. Just like we were.
Right.
I was the battery licker. that, that might explain a few things. It's probably the problem, but you have to read the instructions to learn how to play with that toy. So, as the gift that we receive, if
Yeah.
we were not ever taught how to use the gift, it's going to be mishandled. We did not intend it, but that's all we
Yeah.
knew. We
Helen
needed the
describes it. It's like being in a tornado without protection. Yeah.
Yep. Or a no awareness of what a tornado is.
Mm-hmm.
Take that even further, because my home state's Kansas. So yes, I know what a tornado is. Yes, I've been in a few of them. But I don't know what to do with a hurricane. Hurricanes freak me out. Tornadoes, I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you what to do with those, but hurricanes, no. I'm crying. But they're both the
The
same.
narc will use it to their advantage. Their
Mm-hmm.
theatrics are so obvious. Yeah, and they are to us, but when they fool other people so easily, and that's the maddening, frustrating thing, because most of the stuff they do, like Sharon says, you can't see it. You
Mm-mm.
can't see what they're doing. It's
Especially when
insidious,
yeah, it's conditioning.
invisible.
Yeah, when the narcissist would find me, I was like prime supply. I'm gold, because my conditioning, my training led to all this. Okay, well, now I know better. Now I know better. So now it is on me to be more responsible for myself and my surroundings. So hence why I had to go through the first level of dark shadows and have a conversation with my child, which was ugly and loud, but we got through, because you will get through, because your intention is
Hmm.
love, not continued hate, like a narcissist would have. That's how they live. They live on hate. So,
Hmm.
has anybody written in if they want to chime in?
I don't know. I'm trying to catch up with
Read
the
the
to the
25
reading.
paragraphs.
Deanna says, I just asked the narc husband if I could please get to the sink. He was standing there doing nothing. He got pissy, walked away, and slammed a door that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
slam well. Yeah, that's the whole toddler reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dr.
That's
Jackal and
reactive.
Mr. Hyde.
He's wanting to cause you to be mad. So that's your reaction. So he can claim to whomever that you're abusive.
Hmm.
Simple little things like
Let's
that.
see. Kelly, I met the narcissist in the store down the street. They thought he was the golden boy, like the golden child. I proved them all wrong in April. I
Yeah.
wanted a drink of water. How did that go down, Kelly? How were you able to prove them all wrong? It's so fucking hard. Yeah, being with a narcissist is not only fucking hard; it's pretty much impossible.
It's
Unless you just want
heartbreaking.
to not be human, because yeah,
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking, and because they can never be that person that you thought that they showed you in the beginning, which was deception from the get go. They will never be that person. It was all like, someone seeing someone in a film, like a character
Mhm.
in a film.
This is the
They're not
weirdness
real.
that
They're
you
just
come
doing their
across.
lines.
This is the weirdness that you come across when you step into your healing. The love bomb stage that you got in the very beginning. God, did you love that person? And then they became their regular disgusting selves, and then breadcrumby, which is small amounts of love bombing again. Because I recall even talking to the relationship that I was in. I want you to go back to the original person that I met. I remember saying that. I said it. I texted everything, and his response was, "Well, I can do it if we can work this out." I didn't understand at the time. So you go through all of your healing and you get your PhD. The reason you love that narcissist to death is because they're mirroring you. You fell in love with yourself. They put on a you mask.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that's crazy, huh?
In my whole life, I was in therapy before I even met that last, because I value myself. I didn't feel I had a worth. But a mask for me that was myself, and I fell in love with it. It talk about collision in your head, because I'm like, wait a minute, what? Once again,
Yeah,
how to
and
make
it's
your
weird
brain
to
flip over.
grasp that because when I heard that I thought, well, I don't even like myself, so why
Right.
is he why how am I falling in love with myself? It's a really hard thing to grasp until like you
Yeah.
get out and you can look back at it and think about the whole thing. Well, yeah, I did have that light in me, but he didn't allow me to see that light in me.
He didn't want you to see your own light. Because, like they say a
Hmm.
million times in all these things, if you finally see your value, you realize you don't need that jackass.
Yeah, it's
And then
all
you
over
cut
for
them
them
off.
and they know that.
Yeah.
They know that there's a time limit for everybody that they're with.
Yep.
There's an
There.
expiration date.
Yeah. The moment that they decide
Wow.
that they want a relationship with you, they've already decided without telling you this relationship will end because I said so. But they won't tell you. You know, I
Yeah.
love
And then
oh
it doesn't ever really end because they come back. It
beep
doesn't
beep
end.
honk honk. Yeah, no. So and not until you that's
He did
a
what he
lot of
did to
content.
try to dim your light.
Yeah, you know.
Drugging and poisoning. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people literally leave country or move across the United States to get away from them because a narcissist is nothing more than a crackhead on the corner. So the crackhead on the corner will stay on that favorite corner because they can get crack. So a narcissist
Hmm.
will stay where they get the most supply. So even though you,
Hmm.
as you started out as high grade steak, now you're beaten hamburger, but you moved. I'm
Yeah.
taking my buns and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they still have steak supply on their corner. They're going to stay. Now, if they have enough money or finances, or they can get their flying monkeys to finance, yes, they'll go across country or wherever to come find you to torture you. But they have to have a start over, and most of them don't like it. But yeah, the stalking is a huge thing, even if you don't see them. I've had to reset my
Yeah. I
Facebook
know.
a lot, you know, and all
I
my
feel
social
like
medias because
they're always lurking
yeah,
because
because like
he
the
lives in the same small town, and
hmm
you always do that looking over your shoulder thing. Like,
hmm
okay, are they lurking in the bushes, or are they up in that tree, or like? I didn't think that he did that
well,
either,
yeah,
but
like on Facebook, for instance, if the former partner or person that was a narcissist, if you two were on there, yay, and then you decide to block them, anybody that you know between you two that is on your Facebook, they will go through theirs to come find you. It's what they do. And even though Facebook said they
yeah.
readjusted
Oh,
it, it doesn't.
we've got
They will still stalk you.
a comment here. Sixth Sense Narc says incorrect. They have two sides, and it's a duality between their mother and father. The good side is the real side. The bad side is the scared side. They stalk because they cannot get over you, like you
hmm
stalk too.
I don't stalk, thank you very much. But yeah, Deanna, check that. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of in the beginning, everybody's like trying to figure out what's going on. But that was one of the things I kind of figured out fairly quickly was start blocking. Really, within the first 6 months, uh, that narcissist and his choice of flying monkeys were all blocked. Personal messages, social media, all blocked. Because, once I really, because they were gaslighting me. Oh, no, I'm not saying anything to him. Then how does he
Hmm.
know? Yeah, they do it. They're like little minions. And yeah, they all block. Just block them all. Because if,
Yeah, it looks like Deanna just had to block that guy.
thanks,
He
Deanna.
got out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, his name does say Sixth Sense Narc.
This is the new
Thank you,
phrase.
Deanna.
Thank you, Deanna. Um, yeah, they all can go fly a kite. I have the key. Anyway, it's just, yeah, they can go block them, block them, block them, block them, because that's,
You're
it
good,
cuts them
Deanna.
off.
No worries.
Yeah. Thank you,
Blocking and
Deanna.
block location, however, do not isolate yourself for them.
No.
No, I cut myself off from everybody that they associate with because it was a work situation.
Yeah, you have to, because the
Um,
flying monkeys had picked a side even when you two were together, marriage or just a regular boyfriend girlfriend thing or friendship. All flying monkeys have
mhm,
already picked a side. So if you're out
mhm.
of their group, I mean, this goes right back to high school. You're not cool enough for us. Yeah, you're out. And so they will all commiserate together and, create problems. So if you're like Glennis and that situation entered into work, Glennis was on the outside. My relationship led into so-called friendship. They weren't friendships, they were associations. They were sided with the narcissist, and since I was just the side to them, I was a side chick. That's who he's playing with today. They already decided to be on his side. So no matter what I said or did or conveyed, I'm wrong, because this is the phrase you'll
Yeah.
also hear. I don't understand why he acts like that with you. He was so nice to me. Oh,
Hmm.
that's why you end up blocking these
Just
people,
wait.
because yeah,
It's not your turn yet. That's why. Just wait.
yeah,
Magdalena says, have you any of you gone to domestic violence shelter and received zero help? I've only been to one, and it was a good experience. But is that what you're going through, Magdalena? Yeah, and this is another thing about flying monkeys. If they say, I'm neutral, I'm going to be friends with both of you, they've already chosen a side, and it's not
that's
yours.
right. Yep, because that's how it is.
The great
You were,
pretenders, yes, the great
yeah,
pretenders.
you are involved in the relationship that you're involved in, but to the narcissist and all the flying monkeys, you're nothing but a very sad side salad. You're just a side piece. Even though
Yeah.
you're 100% in the relationship, you're just a side piece. You're not the main entree. You're never going to be. And they laugh at you
E-
behind your back.
Even
Yeah.
if you're the main supply,
Yeah.
which I was.
Yeah. So was I. And the narcissist will tell you, they'll tell you in little tiny, breadcrumbing moments, you're my number one girl. I'm not a girl. I'm a woman. Well, you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So I'm the only one you're seeing. Well, I see lots of people, but you're my number one girl. Never I love you. And never,
Right.
never a heartfelt I love you. Because that's the whole thing, he would do that consistently. What do you love about me? And boom, I could list stuff off. And then I was very grateful he never said what I wish he could change. Of course, they're never going to ask that. But yeah. And then when I'd go and retort it right back to him, I was like, well, what do you love about me? You're the coolest chick I know. Which is really, yeah, I'm just like, what?
You want to hear what the ex narc I was with said?
Go right ahead.
He said, I love it because you look like you do in high school sometimes. There's moments when I get a glimpse of you and you look like the Glennis I know from high school.
Ew.
Okay.
Ew. Creepy, because we're all old and you're looking at teenage girls with lust. Ew. Ew. Yeah.
Let's see. Kelly said what he did to me went on for over 6 years, not even a relationship, but he was fully committed to someone else the entire time. It'll be 6 years
Yeah.
in December. Oh yeah, they have second lives and third lives and fourth lives
Fourth
because they can
lives.
never say no. They can never
They
say
have
no to
heteros.
supply.
Yeah, they're not homosexual, they're supply sexual. So they get a female supply out of you and they get a male supply out of this coworker or this friend or that dog. You know, they get supply off of
Yeah,
everybody. Like
everything and
sick.
everybody, and yeah,
I mean, if it
that
even
when
puts
you
it, if
realize that
uh, yeah, I don't know what makes you
Kelly,
run
when
to the
you
doctor so
realize that,
quicker.
what was that like for you when you discovered that that went on for 6 years while you were with him? Helen puts a bunch of green checks.
Yep. Yep.
Yep, it's like that
But,
video you sent me last week, I think it was, when the girl was getting married, their marriage day, wedding day, and his girlfriend side piece shows up,
mm-hmm.
luckily before they said their vows, I think. And it's like his flying monkeys were saying, this isn't the time or place. This is his wedding day.
Yeah.
Never mind that, he's being exposed for cheating.
Right then
I
and
got
there.
very angry because I believe I was finally waking up. Plus, I've been in therapy almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And rightfully
'Cause-
so. It's a lot
Yeah.
to be angry about. Anybody.
I when I would speak with my therapist concerning the previous relationship, it was just like I swore up and down he was in a dark hole and I was there to rescue him. And my therapist would sit there and just kind of listen, like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, because I had him for a long time. And he'd be like,
Uh-huh.
have you ever thought your narcissist is pulling you into because I would equate it, the dark hole, I would actually equate it as a cesspool, it's a sewage dump. Um, he's like, do you think that your narcissist is, pulling you into the shithole? And it never dawned on me. I had
Mm-hmm.
a savior complex, because I'm a fixer.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I can love them better. I can love them and then they'll be better. Because
More.
it does it
Yes.
does work sometimes. Rarity. But it does work sometimes. Not long term though. Not just the craziness
No,
of
because
my
you're going
own
to
cognitive
exhaust
function.
yourself.
Yes.
You're going to
And that's what they
exhaust
want.
yourself, and then you forget about you. I'm guilty of the same thing because
Mm-hmm.
I was I caught myself in a moment where, wait, well, why are we only talking about your childhood trauma? I thought we were supposed to heal together, because I
Mm-hmm.
remember standing in front of the mirror with him. We used to call each other Forrest and Jenny. And
Yeah.
I said, come here and hold my hand. And we were looking at each other in the mirror holding hands. And I said, don't run, Forrest, because we were
Yeah.
supposed to heal together. Yeah. How insane is that, right? Now that I look back at it. And I
Yeah.
would be
You were
sitting
already
there
telling
talking to him.
yourself.
And yeah, yeah. And I was forgetting about myself. I'm like, I sound
Mm-hmm.
like his damn therapist.
Or his
We cannot
mother
save
or his
them.
grandmother. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
becoming all about him again.
mm-hmm.
All about him. What about me? What about
Mm-hmm.
us? It's always
if
about
the
them.
if the narcissist loves you for being you, how does the relationship turn into all about them?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
I love the current trending, content creation. Why did our relationship go bad? Because we both loved you. there was
Yes.
no there
Yeah,
was
I think
no
I did a video
relationship.
on that a while
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, we both
Yeah.
loved you. That's the only thing we have in common.
Yeah. That's the only thing. We both loved you. Or my favorite now is we
Uh-huh.
both wanted the princess treatment. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
They they must be pampered. They must be pampered. At your sacrifice. It's better. You could be bleeding out from an open wound, but unless they have dinner on time, they don't really have a concern. Not like they're going to clean it.
Yeah.
Not like they're going to help you get through this. They're not there for
Nope.
your mental crisis or your physical if you have a crisis, they're not there. You're too much to handle.
They will leave you. They will leave
Yeah.
you in a hot minute to go help a stranger, though.
Oh yeah, because they're
A
better
complete
supply.
stranger.
They'll
Yeah.
they'll
Because they know
suck up all
nothing
your
about they
money.
can start with a clean slate.
Yeah, just for a little bit, and then when the brand new supply turns out to be the same like everybody, then they'll go back to recycling the dollies on the shelf and pull one down, shake the dust off. It's like, hey, I want to play with you today. Let's play.
I'm I'm back to play with you.
Tickle
Warriors,
set.
come out and play. Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
What was
God,
that
I love
movie?
that movie. That's a goofy movie, but I love it. Yeah, it's like you look at it, I'm like, it was that a gang in
Fly,
the
come out
70s?
and play. Yay.
Yeah. Was that a gang movie in the 70s? Oh my god, that's just more of a gay gang movie. I'm like, y'all have on more eyeliner than I do. But yeah, it's
Hi,
just
honey
kind of,
pepper. I didn't even know you left. Yes, we're still here. Chitting
we're
chatting.
still rambling.
I don't know if
Um,
anybody no one said they want to come on here yet, so we're just
Anybody want to
waiting.
come
If
on?
you want
And
to
I
come
will,
on,
because all I have to do is
yeah, you
kind
just
of
gotta
exit my
go
thing.
into my for anybody on here that didn't hear, you just gotta go on my page on the what tab is it? The post
Community
tab.
tab, or
And
was it
it's
community or post?
for today, the community tab or the post tab, and it's today's live announcement. You can see the picture of today's live and it's in the comments. You can go
Yeah.
grab it and come on if you want. I don't know how
Okay.
much longer I'm going to be on. I'm getting my butt's hurting, but I'll hang out for a little bit more and see if anybody wants to come on here.
Okay. So I will let
I
go the best I can. I'm not exactly sure how to do this since I'm aiming for nothing,
don't either.
but let me try. I might
Yes, we got to
cut
have
everybody.
fun. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Sharon,
Yeah.
for coming on and sharing your stuff, and you're always
I
making
hope
us laugh.
I'm trying. I'm trying to
She's
remember if
trying to
this is
figure it out.
N.
Adrian, where's Adrian? There we go. She figured it out. So yeah, anybody else who wants to come on, I'll give it about 5 minutes because I always love to hear you guys, and you don't have to show your face, but I want to give you a chance to come on and share anything you want to share, or questions, or good stuff, bad stuff, stuff you're struggling with, stuff that you've realized that hey, I'm healing and this is pretty cool. Anything. The floor is open. And just remember, you guys, about what I don't know who all caught the live earlier, because I went over a lot of stuff. Is just how narcissists slowly erase you. You forget who you are if you even knew who you were in the beginning. Hi, Andrew. Good to see you, and I know who you are now. um, what was I saying? That getting yourself back after being in a narcissistic abusive relationship, because they erase you, they want to erase you, they want to steal your light. um, they don't want you to think for yourself, they want you to be confused, hence all the things that they do, the gaslighting, the love bombing, wash rinse repeat, their double lives, everything that they do, and getting you to erase yourself. um, no, I don't have to work tomorrow, thank God. Do you, honey pepper? I don't know if Deanna's still in here. Oh, that's nice. You got the day off too. Yeah, but it goes by quickly, too quickly. Anyways, what I was getting to, you guys, is the big takeaway is to keep promises to yourself, because you've learned how to ignore yourself for so long, especially when you're with a narcissist and you've gone through a lifetime of narcissistic abuse and relationships, because they're not relationships. Relationships are two-way, and anything with a narcissist is a relationship. Nothing else, nothing more. Just keeping promises to yourself, and not ever abandoning yourself, no matter what, no matter for who, in order just to keep someone in your life. It's not worth it. It's better to be alone and stand beside yourself than to be with someone who makes you disappear. Are you Dean Martin daughter? Are you asking me? No, I am not. I don't need Dean Martin. Why do I look like his daughter? Or are you talking about Deanna Martin? I don't think so. This. So, anyways, you guys, I'll wait for a couple more minutes, like maybe 3 more minutes, to see if anybody wants to come on. Again, the link is on my channel under the post or the community tab. You can go to today's live. There's a picture of it, and it's in the comments under that. Grab that and you can hop on. If not, I'm going to wind this up and end this live for today. Thank you guys all for coming. It's been awesome. Always awesome having you guys in here, all the regular Shredding Silence community, the new people that popped up on here. And if ever you want a specific topic for a live, and I'm trying to work on how to get more than one person on here to talk at a time, so we can have like a group roundtable discussion or whatever. But I'm still always learning, because I'm pretty new to the channel. I'm in my first year, so it's growing. I'm always learning. He was the king of cool. Can I come over to see you, sweetie? I think you're talking to Deanna. So yeah, always learning, always building this channel. It's just what I do. And I like doing it. I like building our community. It's pretty exciting seeing how it's growing, you know, people to have a safe space. So if you know someone that's still in a toxic, narcissistic, abusive relationship, please share this with them. Show them the community where we connect a little deeper. Eventually, I got things going on in the background with Shredding Silence that are always in the works, whether it's merch or I just got all kinds of things going on. But because life gets in the way, there's so many hours in the day, it's not going as quickly as I want to. But just know that this channel always has something new coming up in the future, and I think I'm going to end it now because I don't see anybody requesting to come on. But check the community tab for next week's live. I'll always post it in there. Sometimes it might be the same day. And then I'll always post a link once I get it if you want to come in and talk. And so thank you, everybody. Thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Katie, for sharing, and for everybody's comments in here. Keep on keeping on. Always choose yourself, never allow others to dim your light. And until next time, you guys take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you later. Bye from Shedding Silence. Love you guys.